This is Jeff Shine, the voice of Carlos in Resident Evil 3, and you're listening to the Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast.
What is going on, everyone?
How's it going?
We are back with another episode of the Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast. And we got some updates since the last time we talked to you guys. We had a lot of stuff come out for RE9, a lot of stuff with just Resident Evil in general. And, of course, you've seen a bunch of coverage that me and John have done video-wise, but we wanted to kind of do a podcast that kind of updates where we are right now, where we're kind of waiting for more Resident Evil 9 stuff to come out.
Yeah, in this show, we're going to basically summarize everything we've kind of been talking about with a little couple of new bits of information and opinions, because we've had some time to sit on some things like the mobile game, Resident Evil Survival Unit, and Zach Cregger and his movie.
All that
Vision.
Updates, literally the last time we did this podcast, it was like about a week and a half after the reveal trailer. So, there's been a lot more of stuff just kind of coming out.
For Resident Evil 9.
Yeah.
Is what he's saying.
Yeah, exactly. Because, we've been able to see a lot of stuff that we've been kind of, we're able to digest and kind of really, look into what we want to see, what we don't want to see, things like that. And, of course, there is a lot of, rumblings about just other, survival horror stuff that we're going to cover in the next episode. So you guys are going to get a nice chunk of content here from the summer. The summer has been kind of busy with news, just all over, with just gaming and what's coming out later this year.
Definitely.
So it's been exciting.
Some parallel news as well over in the Silent Hill world. We're going to be doing a show on that as well. So that's going to be a standalone show after this one. So you guys can look forward to that.
Yeah.
But I just want to start by saying that after the long silence that was between Village and 9, it's nice to finally have stuff to talk about again.
It is refreshing.
After the remakes, if you exclude remakes, we haven't had a lot to talk about the last 10 years. It's really just been 2 games, 7 and Village, and then you have like all the remakes. There was no movies. There was no... there's Welcome to Raccoon City, but... That coverage was really strange. I almost feel like Welcome to Raccoon City was like revealed. We knew about it from the leaks, and it was revealed, and then it came out really quickly.
It did.
It was like all in 6 months or
because that was during lockdown, so we saw the leak sets, and then before you know it was in the can, and then it was out.
It was out. So that was short-lived, and then the remakes really has been carrying Resident Evil. Village was kind of, I said 10 years. I guess I should say more like 7 years.
Yeah.
After 7.
Yeah.
Village was like, that was really good hype train, and that was really interesting. And if the remakes weren't surrounding Village, we wouldn't really have a lot to talk about.
That's true. Yeah.
It's nice to finally be able to talk about new stuff. There's a new movie on the horizon. Again, the last movie didn't satisfy us, but there's also a new title. And it's just a great time, as we always say, to be a Resident Evil fan.
Yeah, especially when the stuff that we're seeing, excites us, which, again, that can mean nothing from our past experiences, but at least what we're seeing still means that, like, okay, they're trying to do something that we think is going to make us happy and satisfied.
And even if we're not satisfied, I still have a special connection with Village because of our coverage.
Absolutely. A lot of people do on the
there
channel
will
that
always
watched
be
us.
there will always be that first playthrough, and even though I don't like something, doesn't mean that I don't have an appreciation or a special connection to that something. All the way up through the plot twist at the end. Yeah, I remember how I felt through that whole playthrough. And I would never trade that playthrough away, even though I might not be so high on the game.
Sure.
Sometimes we get comments, people are like, oh, John never leaves Village alone. Well, it's because it's the last game.
We are talking about the 9th game, so we have to talk about 7 and 8
when the
in
10th
context.
game is around the corner, we'll be talking a lot about this game. And Village will be kind of in the history books at that point.
Yeah.
Unless we're going to talk about like modern RE engine stuff altogether.
But you made a good point where I think it's like you have to kind of, especially in our position where we're putting out videos on this and content, we kind of create those memories and that fun interaction with the comments in the chat around it. So it's never all like doom and gloom, even if it's like not as good as we thought, because we're here to give you our genuine reaction. And I think that's why people come back to our channels, because it's genuine, in that way. So it's like, that's how it's going to be. We're going to tell you how it is, and we're not going to be unfair about it. We're going to critique it. We're going to be constructive about it. Obviously, you have our first initial reaction, but we always have time to kind of take it, digest it,
and we play
then
these
do a
games all the
review.
time.
Absolutely.
So like, I have recently just replayed all of the RE engine, and I believe other than RE3, you've replayed them all recently. You're about to replay RE3 soon. We're definitely doing it leading up to RE9.
Yes.
Together, and I think you're going to do a mod or something as well.
Yeah, or Dice Lock.
Dice Lock or something like that. So we're going to be revisiting that, and just as a kind of a closing statement for this intro, for me, RE3 Remake was my favorite 24-hour stream, but it's not even my favorite game from the RE engine, but it's still my favorite one, and it kind of gotten better and better and better. We did RE2, we did RE3, we did RE Village, and we did RE4. And even though RE4 is my favorite game of the bunch, RE3 Remake stream was special. And there's also outside factors. I wasn't feeling the greatest, and I was still kind of really struggling through my health problem when RE4 was around. But I still enjoyed the hell out of that stream.
Yeah, we had
RE3 was a magical experience. We didn't just beat it once. We beat it 3 times.
Yes.
And that will forever be, until RE9, hopefully, my favorite stream we've done. And that just goes to show that sometimes you can have special relationships with games, special connections with them, without them necessarily being your favorite of all time. You know, RE4 Remake is up there. It's in my top 10 of all time list.
Right.
I love that game.
Where you could look at that on a table and be like, okay, well, clearly this is better than 3.
Yeah,
in many
clearly
ways.
better.
But the experience, it's really all about the experience. With
Dustin's basement, sitting on the couch.
Yeah, and also, like, you know, it was a crappy time in everybody's lives. Nobody knew what was going on. People wanted entertainment, and we gave it to them. And I think that was the biggest thing, is that it's about the
and
experience.
each other and ourselves.
Yeah.
We were very entertained. We needed that escape, too, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
From Best Buy.
Yeah.
Channel history lore. You know, we both met at Best Buy. All 3 of us, actually. Dustin as well, our friend.
And everything was on hold, and it was kind of like, all right, well, we're going to cover this anyway, because we were already doing the Legacy series up until that point. So I think because of the Legacy series leading into that, I think that's what made it more of like a fulfilling, this is the cap off. Like, this is the send off. So yeah, any build up to any Resident Evil game is always a good time. And like you said, for RE9, it's, you know, it's good to just see another main entry, not just a remake. Remakes are great. We love them, but it's cool to see a main line come back into the fold and look pretty good. And in this episode, we're going to be covering basically the developer message that came out after we recorded the last episode.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Survival Unit as well, which we did do a video on, but we're going to go through that real quick. And then, of course, Zach Cregger, that's the third topic, which is his comments on his Resident Evil film and what he's going to be doing. So
and
that's
also,
what we're going to be covering.
With the RE9 reveal trailer, as well as the developer message, kind of our thoughts on where we're at with RE9 as well, currently, with all the information we know.
Yeah.
The video we put out with Rhodes Hill, stuff like that.
Yeah, this week it's going to be 2 months since it's been revealed. So
Yes.
as of this recording, it's going to be about 2 months since it got actually showcased for the first time at Summer Game Fest. It was first week of June, and now it's the first week of August. It's flying by. It's going to be the fall before you know it. That's going to be the winter, and then this thing's going to be out.
We're recording this on August 4th, 2025. Shout out to King of the Hill, just came back. I did watch the first episode this morning.
Nice.
It's definitely, you know, it's got its issues, but it's so cool to see it come back, because I watched that more than I watched The Simpsons.
Yeah, I didn't realize
when
that
I
was
was
coming
little.
back. Yeah,
yeah, it's back. It just launched today. There's a full season, 10 episodes, I think, out. But just wanted to give that a quick shout out, because that's, you know, part of my childhood, and that's pretty cool. It's like reminiscing about stuff is always awesome. But just to give a little snapshot in time, the King of the Hill reboot, will it be good? Will it be bad? I don't know. But if you're listening to this in the future, we'll see. We'll know.
We'll find out.
Before we get into it, why don't you tell everybody where they can find all of our stuff and follow us?
Yeah. So
because one of our goals for 2026 and beyond, from today really beyond, is we're trying to grow and connect with more Resident Evil fans all over, and survival horror fans, of course. So
yeah,
take it away.
Yeah, so we can you can always find us. The biggest social, I guess you can call it social at this point, is our Discord. That's really the biggest thing that we're pushing. is trying to get more people in our Discord and discuss Resident Evil, hang out. You know, we're going to try to get back to doing some kind of monthly event for, you know, Patreon and members and stuff like that. But regardless, even if you're not signed up, Discord is like probably the best.
Discord's a great place to get like-minded community members together to talk.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people in there who do post their collections. They do post discussions.
No, you guys have been great.
And if you want news, our Discord sometimes drip feeds us news because there are people all over, and the more eyes, the better.
Yes.
So there's sometimes you'll see something before we cover it, if this is your only coverage of the channel or if you're waiting for other YouTube people to cover it. Discord's got the links first, so you can always stay up to date with all Resident Evil news there, and then you got to get our take with the video.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest one that we've built since, I would say, 2019 is when we started using it as a collective. And Instagram is going to be the other one. And then, of course, you know, as far as just supporting, extra support, that comes from YouTube members and Patreon. So, which
are going to be both getting reworked soon.
Yeah.
We're trying to double down on, you know,
specifically Patreon.
Yeah, specifically Patreon.
Yeah, YouTube members, there'll be adjustments with just more stuff you're getting, but I don't see it being completely, like, you know, completely taken back from the beginning. I think we have a solid membership foundation.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
It's just going to be a lot more of like
more
perks
Patreon
that you get.
Becoming more in line with YouTube memberships than the opposite way around.
Yeah, and just more perks around. But as of now, you get custom badges and emojis on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you're on Patreon or YouTube, you also vote on live streams that I do on the channel or content coming up. And of course, you know, just different, you know, early access and stuff like that everybody likes. And we're going to be bringing back the exclusive shows and stuff for that as well. So just more content all around, and it helps the channel grow. To, you know, again, we're trying this out in a different way, approaching RE9. So again, any little support that you guys can give us, we appreciate it. Or if you're just
feedback.
Sitting here, feedback. But if you're just sitting here liking it and commenting, that also helps. So
just watching it helps.
Just watching it, watch time. So again, just want to let that be known that those options are out there for you guys to join and take our content further. So
exactly, every little bit helps.
It
and
does.
Of course, at the end of the day, our goal is to provide entertainment and value to your daily life.
Yeah,
even if it's just something as simple as Resident Evil.
Exactly, this is entertainment.
Sometimes people just need an escape. So we hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah.
All right, now that Anthony has blinded me with the light, let's get into it.
All right, so we obviously had the big reveal trailer. I know we talked about that in the last podcast and our thoughts. But we did get a developer message from the Capcom Spotlight. It happened probably about a few weeks after we recorded the first initial episode talking about RE9, unpacking everything. And we had, you know, this whole breakdown from the developers like they normally do. They talk about, you know, why they made certain decisions. And we have a lot to get into because there's a lot of interesting choices they made, interesting stuff that they decided to show us that they didn't have to show us. And so we had Koshi Nakanishi, who is the director, and he was also the director of Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil Revelations. And they really wanted to drive home this core concept of addictive fear. You know, I think what we talked about in the last episode was about, you know, how Grace is this character that is, you know, she's a bookworm, but she's not this, you know, super decked out the reason why they went with Grace initially was to give this, you know, fear factor into this addictive fear. Now, what are your thoughts on them, you know,
controversial topic?
This big topic that has spawned, like, after our last episode because of what he said here, you know, during this moment is, you know, he just doesn't think that someone like Leon would work in this kind of addictive horror, this addictive fear, because he wants to kind of have the player really feel that fear that Grace is, you know, radiating off of these events, like reacting to certain things. And he's just like, Leon wouldn't react to like a bucket falling that way and stuff like that. And everybody kind of jumped on Nakanishi for this. And it doesn't mean that like he's not in the game, but like, well, what do you think though? As far as like how people have reacted, what is your initial reaction to his comments? Because Leon's your favorite character.
Yeah, I think that very unfortunate wording. It could be a very unfortunate translation.
That's what we were saying behind the scenes.
Yeah,
like I think people are taking this way too
seriously.
Yeah,
people are so quick to be angry, and this is coming from us.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's
okay.
true.
We've had our WWE shoots.
Yeah, we have
on the franchise.
a very reactionary, knee-jerk reaction,
Yeah.
if you will.
But a game developer's always, knock on wood, but always trying to deliver a great experience. I don't think that they're saying that Leon doesn't work in horror. I think they're just saying Leon doesn't work for what they are trying to do. You can only say so many words on camera in a cut together video. So saying that like, oh, we thought about having Leon as the character, but then we didn't, that could disappoint Leon fans.
It has.
It has. Did it disappoint me? No.
Didn't disappoint me either.
No, it didn't disappoint me. Between the live action that was a disappointment. Welcome to Raccoon City.
Right.
And also Paul Anderson's Leon. He looked the part, but didn't talk or act
Really
the part.
had much purpose.
No, yeah.
By the time he came in.
So other than those, Leon is used and abused. And he gets used a lot. And I love it because I am a Leon fan. I just think that it's okay if they're trying to go with a more scary approach. I think it's nice to cap off this trilogy, this first-person trilogy, because this game will be third and first-person.
Yes.
Which we'll get into in a little bit. But I think it's okay to cap it off with a new character. Especially with a character... They're not just using this opportunity to introduce a second Ethan. They're introducing a character with connections to a previous character who never got the limelight, really, because they were in, what, for all intents and purposes, a spinoff.
Yes.
That is considered to be some of it canon, some of it not. They're kind of what-if scenarios, right? I mean, Christ, one of the scenarios is literally called Decisions, because there's so many different things that can happen. I like Grace. I think Grace, bringing back somebody with expertise who knows how to shoot a gun, but might not necessarily ever be put in a situation, they're still going to have the jitters. They're still going to be scared. They're also kind of leaning into, oh, she's an FBI agent. She should be okay with this. Yeah, okay. Are you an FBI agent? They're still human. They still deal with things.
Right.
And this is a chaotic, traumatizing case for her because it's her mother's death. Her mother's murder, right? So that, on top of being a desk rat, on top of being kind of a bookworm and not really a field agent, even though she's an analyst, she's usually brought in with muscle probably, right? So that leads me to believe some things like, I would be kind of disappointed if they sent her alone. I think that would be really stupid, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's why the guy gets killed with the bag.
We're predicting that's like her partner
or
that.
One of the people that go with her,
yeah.
like the initial unit that goes with her.
Yeah.
Because that would feel really weird if you're building up this character who's kind of traumatized and kind of has like this, are they going to be reliable? Like Nikolai says.
Yeah.
She's unreliable.
Unreliable.
Is she going to be reliable in the heat of the moment? Which Jill is not unreliable, by the way. Nikolai's just a dick.
Yeah.
But, will Grace be unreliable in the moment? Is she going to be a survivor? Well, yeah, she's a protagonist.
Yeah.
I imagine she sees the end of the game, But that story of how she gets there, does she grow? Does she become a badass?
Right.
In this?
That's the thing they said is like there's something like a catharsis you get from overcoming fear,
Uh-huh.
right? So it creates an addiction that makes you want to do more, right? So it's like...
Why do you think people enjoy skydiving?
Yeah. It's like, why...
Think those people aren't scared?
People enjoy horror, right? Because it gives them that, just horror in general, or watching horror movies, because it gives them an experience that maybe, it's something you don't see every day. You don't see the grotesque nature or the thrilling, scares and stuff in your daily life, but it gives them that kind of, that escape and that experience. Like, it all is about the experience, really, like we keep saying. So I think that's what they're trying to drive home. Now, him saying, Leon's quite a bad match for horror probably wasn't the best thing to say.
No, like
because
I said,
people took that and ran.
People took that as in him saying Leon is not fit for horror games, and I don't think that's what he meant.
No,
I think what he was trying to say was Leon is a bad match for their vision, because in the pure horror-driven, character horror-driven,
he's been through it all.
Game, he's numb, and he is numb. He's fucking killing people in Vendetta.
Yeah.
Like, Not literally. I mean, maybe, probably.
Yeah.
I doubt the zombies were driving the cars.
Yeah.
So he's literally, he gives fuck all about anything around him. But he does still, obviously.
Yes.
He does.
But by
It's an
RE4,
over-characterization of
he's
him in those movies.
Done it. He's
RE4,
been through it.
yeah. RE4 is...
government training and decked out and...
I would say, like, RE6 Leon is a Leon who is probably the most dangerous, one of the most dangerous men on the planet, because he's so experienced, so numb to losing people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I say numb, he's kind of like Batman in the sense that he feels it. I mean, that's why he's in a bottle. That's why he's always upset about losing people, losing his guys in the bombing mission that Homeboy sold him out on.
Yeah.
Same thing with Chris, right? Chris is the same, but when they're in the mission, when they're in the moment, Leon is numb, where Chris is still a little bit more emotional.
Yeah.
But he's also become, in Village especially, very numb. I mean, look how he treats Ethan like a dog.
Yeah.
That's
He
just
does.
terrible writing, but it's also
Right, yeah.
like we have to take what we get, right? So what they're going for with the story that they're going for, why would Leon care about Alyssa?
He didn't know her.
He doesn't fit.
Right.
I mean, he could know her because I'm sure they have like a Raccoon City Survivor
Maybe, but like
AA meeting.
You know, an attachment as close as Grace has to
Yeah,
her. No.
it's her mother.
Yeah.
So for this story, it was a bad fit, and I think that was just a poorly translated, poorly worded. And the thing is that the other thing people have to realize too, when you jump all over a developer for something like this, it's just going to make them not want to talk anymore.
It's true.
So
Yeah.
all of the days where we get nothing for long periods of time, you thank the people who attack them.
Yeah.
Right? It's one thing to criticize what they say, but it's really important to try to understand and unpack what they probably mean.
And they tried to explain it here too. Like we had, like they
There's a
wanted
language barrier,
They wanted
yeah.
someone that experienced horror from the same perspective, right?
And they
wanted
explained it. Yeah,
they
you're right.
wanted you to be her, right? Like she's, introverted, but she's willing to do what she can to get through the situation, knowing that, okay, I want to find out the truth. I want to get to the bottom of this. And it doesn't mean Leon's not in the game. Leon can still show up at the end, which
Or
is
anybody.
or anybody. We're expecting some other Raccoon City survivor to show up in the game. And I think that is something that, we have to just not take this one quote and be like, well, he's not in the game now,
Yeah. What do they call that when you're born to survivors? There's a word for it. It's like survivor's inheritance or something like that.
Not sure. Yeah, not sure.
I think that actually is a little bit more literal, where literally like you're a kid in a car accident and your parents get, smoked or whatever. But Grace, in some sense of the word, is a Raccoon City hauntee. She's haunted by Raccoon City because she's a product of somebody who went through it. So it's going to be interesting to see how much they lean into that. I also like that they're leaning more into the actual FBI,
yeah, I think that is cool.
because we don't get a lot of FBI in the universe other than Ada saying she's FBI lying to Leon in the RE2 remake.
Not literal FBI agents like that we do now. So it's like we got up to
Yeah.
that point where we're starting to see something a little bit different.
Yeah.
So-
How do you feel about Grace as a character right now? Are you confident in her ability to be basically Ethan 2.0? Because that's what they're going for. They want to go for an Ethan that you don't have to actually put yourself in the shoes of.
It's true.
They want a more relatable character. This is the first, other than Ethan, Anthony, this is the first character we've gotten that has no experience since Claire. And I guess you could argue Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could argue Steve as well.
Because, like, Piers was a military guy. Helena was a trained agent. Leon was a cop, at least.
Right.
Chris
Sheva
and
Chris.
they're all trained.
BSAA.
So, as far as a playable character, other than Claire in the first RE2,
That is true.
I
like the approach. I think it works with, again, maybe trying to give it less of a powerful feeling. Like you don't have this, You're not going in all decked out. It's more of a scaled down, which again, I like that about Ethan initially, where it's like, okay, this is just a guy that is looking for his wife and that's it. And then they kind of changed it where it's like, well, then he became molded. With this, Grace is human.
Mm-hmm.
She's normal like everybody else throughout the whole game, so we think, right? Unless there's some crazy twist.
Well, I was going to say there's also another parallel I was talking mainline games, but she's also kind of in the position of Moira Burton.
Moira as well.
From
Yeah.
Rev 2.
Absolutely.
And remember what she went through with the fear and everything?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
The
And
gunshot at the end?
overcoming the fear
Of guns?
of guns and the accident that happened in the house. And
Yeah.
that was also a very emotional thing, especially for Barry, especially for Moira. So I think with Grace, it's like she has this emotional attachment to her mother.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, if anything, we might care more about her now over Ethan, because I just think they're going to tie this into what we know about Raccoon City and our survivors, and I think that's a big, difference. I think we care about this location. We care about, what we might unravel, more truths about Raccoon City, which they kept saying throughout this whole developer direct, is that we're going to get to more truth that you never knew about Raccoon City and how reluctant they were to go back to Raccoon City. But I think when you have a strong character like this is something where it's important. Hopefully written a lot stronger. Hopefully we'll get to that point where, she can, have look for a reason to fight further along, especially when she starts uncovering the truth.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see Grace. I like her design. I like where she's coming from. I like the fact that she is a little introverted, a little bit of a bookworm, kind of, really into this case that is unraveling. And now we're finding out more truths about, what actually happened to Alyssa with this murder,
It's interesting that with Ethan being an exception, because Ethan really is supposed to, 7 was designed for you to be Ethan. That's why Ethan's very, very, he's very undeveloped in 7. 8 tried a little bit harder. But interestingly enough, another thing about Grace, other than Wesker, she's the only blonde main character. Jill has a brief moment of blondism in RE5. But that's only in that one game, and it's very short-lived. So they really are trying to make her stand out from the rest of the main character cast, because there's no other person.
Yeah, the biggest thing we can confuse her with is Rose, which sometimes we'll say accidentally.
Yeah.
And then we got to correct ourselves. It's not Rose, because everyone, again,
which I guess Rose could be
hair.
considered a main character.
Yeah.
Because she does have the little bit of a DLC, but she's not the mainline entry main character.
Yeah.
Same thing with Alex Wesker. I don't mean villains or characters at all. There's no blonde. I mean playable mainline heroes.
Yeah, they're switching up the design a little bit for the heroine.
She's also the first one which they, in the gameplay, that's very quickly, I think that they get rid of this, but she's also, I'm pretty sure she's the only character that has glasses.
I think
Hunnigan
so.
has glasses, but Hunnigan's behind the scenes. There's no playable glasses character.
No.
Oh, I guess you could consider Ashley. She is playable for a little section, but you know what I mean. Leon, Jill, Chris, Ethan's blonde. So Ethan's got that blonde as well. They're kind of going with the blonde look for this trilogy.
Yeah.
So I do find that to be a little interesting. And obviously Alyssa is blonde hair. Some of the Outbreak characters do.
Yeah, I like her design, though, overall.
I do. I do like her
the
design.
approach.
What do you think about the Chosen One speech? That the hooded figure, or AKA the old man. They could be different characters, but we're pretty sure they're the same character.
Yeah, we're unsure who exactly that is, but I think the whole Chosen One thing is potentially I do think it could be a callback to, the daylight cure that was in Alyssa in Outbreak, and we're gonna have lore videos coming out that you guys will see that kind of breaks down some stuff in Outbreak that not a lot of you may or may not know, and if you do, then you might be following. But
that first one that first Alyssa video that he's talking about should be out right around the time this comes out.
Yeah.
And you might have already seen it by now, but
yeah, I mean, I just think, and to sum it up, as far as just what I mean by that is just I think that there's something within that daylight that was within her body that if she got pregnant after the fact and had Grace, that maybe there's something within Grace's blood that makes her this chosen one, this special, subject, so to speak. And, what was still going on in these remnants of Raccoon City while we were away? Has it been... is there a lab that's been upkept by somebody, and that somebody may be who we're hearing talk in this trailer? So, so I think they're definitely going to go back on that and try to, maybe connect Outbreak a little bit more, which is exciting. I think it's cool that the excitement of going back to something like Outbreak, where, not a lot of people may have even given it a thought that they would ever go back there. So I think it's great.
There are Resident Evil fans. We live in an era where there's Resident Evil fans that weren't even born when Outbreak came out.
Yeah, very
so true. There's some people who are like, this game's not accessible. You have to emulate it.
You do.
Or pay outrageous prices and you go buy a PS2. And some people just don't do that, right?
That's true. Yeah.
There's some gamers who will go back and own the old consoles like ourselves, and there's some people who just won't do that. They'll be like, I'll wait for it to come out on, HD collection or something like that.
Yeah, or to be put up on the store. Like, we're currently
store.
waiting for 2 and 3 to go up on the PS5 store. But I think, to your point, a lot of people just want an easy way to play it.
So they only just read about it.
Watch videos, stuff like that. So to get kind of caught up on what Outbreak means to Grace, and it comes down to Alyssa. So I think we are going to get an Alyssa flashback. I think
for sure.
I think they have a model for her for a reason. I think we might see something from Alyssa's perspective, maybe leading up to when she dies. That would be an interesting intro of a game.
I kind of feel like her murder should be the intro to this game.
I think that's the way you got to do it.
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, that could ruin the mystery a little bit. Like, maybe they're going to want to keep it. They should at least tease the murder.
I was going to say teasing it. Like, it doesn't have to show it outright, but they could still show it outright without showing you who's doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they could, it could just, like, you're doing something, and then it can cut to, like, something happening, and then all of a sudden she's just, like, unresponsive, or I don't know, just something that I was thinking of where it's like, I feel like that would make sense just to see Alyssa, so the players that are playing it have a little bit more of an attachment than just a name. Because we have an attachment because we know we played Outbreak.
We barely have an attachment.
And we barely.
Because Outbreak doesn't have, like, in-depth story characters, because you pick
so much going on, yeah.
So there's no... You have an Outbreak to, that's really cool. Let's call it what it is. It's really cool that they're bringing back a character. It's not like Alyssa had her own game.
No, never.
She is one of the most interesting characters. George Hamilton's another one that's really interesting.
Yes.
Jim Chapman, Yoko is also very interesting.
Yes, being an Umbrella member.
Kevin Ryman is really interesting. He failed his STARS exam twice. Like, he was supposed to work. It's interesting his desk isn't with Leon's desk in the remake.
No.
He wears the same outfit in the original, so you would think they'd be part of the same unit. That would have been really cool if they put Kevin Ryman's name tag in the other office on, like, the ground or something. But I don't think they have. I looked everywhere and I didn't see it.
Right.
So she's definitely one of the more interesting characters, right? She's one of the characters who you could see coming back. Yoko, Alyssa,
do you think
George.
We'll get, like, any mention of them in a file somewhere, like other characters?
So I have a theory that at this Chronic Care Center, we're going to find evidence that one of them was taken there after the incident and they got murdered.
Okay.
Or they got experimented on and killed.
That's a good theory.
Because... Which we get into this a little bit in... no, we actually didn't get into this. This was a conversation we had off video.
Yeah.
The Chronic Care Center. Yeah, we get into it in the Rhodes Hill video, actually, I think we talked about.
Yes.
Where are these Chronic Care Centers, surrounding in the surrounding area of Raccoon City, they would have been paid and looked, through by Umbrella and the military to cover up, right? Because if anybody was getting out, they have to make sure the virus isn't in them, the virus is contained and stuff. So if the Chronic Care Centers, some of the people were captured and taken there to make sure they don't have the T virus, we could be in a situation where, like, because you can escape Outbreak.
So we did just fact check the Outbreak endings and whether or not people leave. And there is a bad ending where characters, they turn into a zombie in the helicopter.
Yeah.
So very, very classic kind of zombie horror them turning
Yeah.
in the helicopter, and the helicopter crashes. Very similar to Dead Rising, which actually happens. And then there's bad endings where certain characters are left behind because they're just not allowed on because they're infected. And then Alyssa shares a bad ending where she's with Yoko and they're inside the Raccoon University. And Alyssa emails proof of Umbrella's wrongdoings to the media. So and
obviously that's not canon because she's going to be murdered later.
And Grace is never born.
Never born.
So there, like you mentioned, though,
and Yoko testified against Umbrella. As well. So we know that some things are canon.
Yeah, like you mentioned, there's so much going on in Outbreak. There's so much revolving door of scenarios and possibilities.
So they really can cherry pick whatever they want.
They really can.
They could have it so characters do get out and then have the cure in their hand and then don't get to use it. Because they're taken to chronic care centers and ejected to make sure they save the T-virus.
Absolutely.
Because you could take the T-virus from somebody's body, essentially. So it's all up in the air.
Yeah, and I think this chosen one, like obviously, like, you know, I'm curious too, like this specific, you know, case file that she's following.
The Renwood Hotel file.
Yeah, the Renwood Hotel, which we're going to get into some of the locations. John already mentioned the Rhodes Hill, which we've done a video on, but we're going to talk about that too. Like, I think there's, you know, following this case so closely, I think when she starts to see these patterns, we'll probably see even more of her investigating as well, other than just like, you know, this little intro bit where it's like, you know, going in and just having that information. I think that we're going to have, you know, different case files that might lead up to it. We'll see. You know, I think that there's, you know, with Nathan Dempsey being her, you know, special agent, is someone like him going to be leaving the office and helping her once she finds out she's in trouble? Is there going to be somebody else that comes to her rescue? You know?
Hell no.
So I think he's
sending her there because he knows that's her destiny to die.
Yeah, he's just like,
I have a feeling he's in on it.
Yeah.
Who's like, yeah, I know your mom got murdered here, but get over it, you fucking idiot.
I mean, he didn't really say it like that.
That's basically what he said, bro.
I mean,
he's like, yeah, you're going to have to, what does he say? He says like,
maybe
it's time to face the past, Grace. Yeah. Maybe it's time for you to shut the hell up, Dempsey.
I mean, I don't know, man.
I don't even think they do that in real life. You're not allowed to work cases of personal interests because you could be emotionally motivated.
I guess not, but you know, it has to be a game, and this is Resident Evil, so we have to.
What if it's a game because he's a bad guy?
It could, but
what if his skin melts off and it's Wesker?
Yeah, he is Wesker.
He is Wesker.
But yeah, stuff like the Renwood Hotel, stuff like the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center, like things like this.
I'm being facetious, by the way. I don't actually think he's evil.
I know.
I know. Somebody's gonna be like, actually,
yeah, he's not evil. There's no way.
Why is he evil? Because he has glasses.
Yeah, like it's interesting, right? Because even in this case, it says the deceased individual was discovered in an abandoned government office.
Yes, government facility.
But where exactly is that? You know, like where would be the abandoned government office? You know, is that abandoned like around their whereabouts, like where their office is located? Because it's not in Raccoon City where their office is shown in that trailer, that shot that you see. So when we talked about the Rhodes Hill Chronic Care Center, we were kind of saying, okay, this is connected to maybe somewhere in the outskirts of the city, because, you know, we did that connection of, you know, from the close-up in the outbreak scenario, in the underbelly scenario, specifically where it says Rhodes Hill Old Court. So we know that it's accessible. We know that there's, you know, something that is you could get to it by a train. You can get to it by, you know, other transportation. So it's very interesting that they're connecting even more areas around Raccoon City. It might not be in the heart of the city because we know that we're eventually going to go there when we go to the RPD. But yeah, I just think that it's interesting that we are still, you know, going to these locations that we never saw before. And, you know, we only saw like on signs and stuff like that. I like that. I think it's cool because, you know, you could just go to where everything was blown up, or you can go to maybe where the blast radius didn't reach, and maybe this Rhodes Hill Center has been taken care of, been upkept by these people or this individual that wants to still make BOWs, still run experiments, still create this like stalker enemy creature that we still don't know who it is. You know, we talked about this in the last episode. There's a lot of theories that it's Alyssa. There's a lot, you know, so all this stuff coming
It could
from
be the hooded person.
Yeah, the hooded person. Like, are they morphing? Are they changing? You know, there's weird. It looks feminine.
Is it Chris?
So yeah, is it Chris? It looks
feminine.
Yeah,
you're right.
so it's like, I think that where this Rhodes Hill is and where these locations are, it's very interesting to see how they've been, you know, upkept and how they've, you know, retained their. Because you look in the trailer, like if the Rhodes Hill Center, if that's even where the demo takes place, which is what a lot of people are saying, the demo that people have played, it looks like it has been taken care of. It doesn't look like it's in rubble like your RPD. So, you know, us going back there. So the one thing that, you know, I also wanted to bring up, because we talked about, you know, locations and stuff like that, is the fact that this is in fact set about 30 years after the initial strike on Raccoon City.
Yeah.
So that's what they said in the developer message specifically. So again, it's been a long time. There's no way any building would look like this, and even on the outskirts of a blast, unless it was maintained by something, kept up by something. You know, if there's experiments and stuff like that, who's there to like keep taking care of the test tubes and where all this stuff's happening? So it's definitely like, I feel like it's connecting to something that has been going on for years after the blast, leading up to this point. Like,
you talking about the RPD?
I'm talking about just Raccoon, like the Rhodes Hill Center, these places that look like they're around Raccoon City, but they've been like, they've been maintained, right? They've been upkept. So I just think that there's going to be a little bit more, I think, to that. It's not just, I don't think it's just one person.
Yeah.
I think it could be multiple people, or maybe a team of people that might be giving a hand to this post Raccoon City project that is happening here. I could be wrong. That's just a theory. But at the same time, you know, it's Resident Evil, so anything can really happen, you know, with how they go about it. So I think that there's a lot of possibilities and a lot of things they can change as well that we thought initially was there and that wasn't. That's one thing they kept saying in this developer message is like, you're going to unravel truths that you know about Raccoon City, the real truth. And it's like, well, what is that like real truth of Raccoon City that we already don't know? And, you know, we know the cover-ups and stuff like that, but it's just, they can go either way with it. It's crazy. They can add stuff that wasn't there before. They can, you know, and they got to be a little careful, because they said in the developer message, they were like, we were reluctant to go back to Raccoon City because there was so much to connect.
Yeah, and I think that's what they were referencing when they said that they were breaking tradition, because they generally don't go back to any location. Like, yeah, you can say, oh, well, Raccoon City's in RE2, RE3, RE Outbreak.
The trilogy, yeah.
RE Outbreak, Outbreak File 2, Operation... But that's all at the same time before the missile hits. Once the missile hit, they never went back. I do think they got the look of Raccoon City wrong. It's been 30 years. Yes. It's been 30 years. There would be so much more wildlife.
And foliage.
It would be like The Last of Us, where the buildings are covered in moss and very overgrown, unless they're going to explain it.
Like the missile strike stops it from growing, or stops.
Even the nuclear bombs that were dropped, nature's reclaimed. It didn't take 30 years for nature to reclaim those.
That's a good
areas,
point,
right?
Yeah, and this wasn't a nuke.
It was a thermobaric, heat missile.
We got to be clear, because people are going to
essentially, so it's not nuclear, but it's going to leave some type of
absolutely,
trace,
like that big ass crater that we see in the trailer.
It's not going to destroy its ability to grow. And then if you argue, well, maybe the virus is in the soil. Maybe the virus is all in the soil and all that.
It's infected, yeah.
Well, Plant 42. Ivies. Plant 43.
Very true.
Right?
Very true.
There's so many things that I think that's one of the things they got wrong. It should be more overgrown.
Okay.
And I'm a little interested.
That's a fair critique.
Yeah, I'm a little interested as to why it's not, and I hope they explain it. Because if they don't explain it, it's going to be a little interesting. I think I was watching a documentary about like if all of the humans on Earth just died, right? It would take like 200 years for basically buildings and cities and stuff to be gone. They would still have remnants, but they would effectively be reclaimed by nature.
Right.
And yes, I had texted Dustin a question while we were recording. I asked him if, because I was playing RE2 Remake the other day, and there's a government official who's initialed BE, and it's in Birkin's inbox in his email. He's like, oh, thank you for your interest or whatever. I forget exactly what it says. It said here, I pulled it up. It says, thank you for your mail, Dr. Birkin. Top Brass has expressed an interest in this evolving bioweapon you mentioned. Don't worry about costs. Our company is the most well-funded in the whole of the United States. Sender BE. We don't know who that is. This could be BE.
Yeah.
It could be BE or related. I'm pretty sure that was probably
somebody that had a working relationship or maybe somewhat of a communication with your Birkins, your Spencers, like somebody
for
that
sure.
is in that circle or that was in that circle that got casted out, that got let go, that didn't get killed in the initial fight between, who has the weapons and who doesn't. But it could be. Like, and you mentioning the virus still being there in the soil or something, if it could be, right? Like maybe that's how they can extract stuff, and maybe there's a way that they could take it from those infected grounds.
And yes, this is a big thing I wanted to talk about that we're going to talk about in our Outbreak video.
Yes.
Is because we're going to do a little video talking about all the Outbreak things we've seen so that we could kind of go over all the things they could pull from.
Yes.
And also all the things they have pulled from.
Yep.
And as our good friend Dustin just put in here, there is a scene, an epilogue scene in Outbreak, where you see the ruins of Raccoon City, which look a little different. And there is a government facility built in the ruins. And this might be going back to that. And if it does, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I really
like that. In the crater, remember? The crater's like full of buildings, and then there's like I can't remember if it's a guy on the phone or if it's just like the building it shows, but we'll play it. You can play it over the screen. I'm sure we have the footage of it for them to see, so they'll see exactly what it is. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I like that. And again, it's them leaning more into that Outbreak stuff that initially set up, which I think is a really cool thing, especially when you're trying to, make all these connections and them trying to go back and say, well, it was hard for us to do it. Let's kind of lean on Outbreak as kind of like inspiration almost. It was like they're going back to their old work as like, we can kind of pull from that, like pull little things from it, some things major, some things little.
And we do know that they have changed things.
Big time.
Because even like the missile consistency between 3 and 3 Remake is different.
It's different.
And then Outbreak has multiple missiles.
Yes.
They actually shoot multiple bombs, which would probably be more realistic for
multiple craters.
Kind of form it up. So that's also interesting that they're kind of cherry picking what they want to use and picking and choosing, which is what cherry picking means. But
yeah, so it's like you went to like RE3 Nemesis, where it's just like one blast that literally took it off the map. Then you go from Outbreak, where it's the missiles and multiple craters. Then you go to RE3 Remake, where it's just another one big missile. So it's like these are the problems that you run into with a franchise that is very long, gets remakes, gets spin-offs, sometimes and different writers, different creatives.
Yes, and the RE3 Remake one is probably the only one that could result in what you see
for RE9.
For RE9.
Yeah.
Because it's that one concentrated area. It's not lighting up the entire city.
Yeah.
There's no way the RPD would be still steady. You see the RPD in Outbreak, I think, or in RE3 even. I think it shows when everything's exploding, it shows the RPD get obliterated.
In the original RE3.
In the original RE3,
yes.
that's what I'm saying.
It completely blows it up.
It's like, bang, not quite where the house is in the first game, but it completely obliterates it, right?
Yeah.
So having it standing, it is an old building, it is a museum. It's probably made of mostly like concretes and stuff.
Right.
And metal, like metal framed concrete, which is what they use to build castles, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
They like iron frame the concrete walls. So maybe it could still be standing.
It's interesting to pick it apart because, again, these are things we've just kind of been discussing and thinking between when we saw this reveal trailer to like now, where it's been like 2 months. Because, these are just things that we either, read in comments, read in replies, talk amongst ourselves. So these are always interesting to see, like, how it all comes together. So I think that's when you're going back to so many games that go to this one point in time, this major 1998 incident.
October 1st.
Yep. It's like that is a crucial day in Resident Evil history. So now we're going back to said day, and like you said, going back for the first time post that date in Resident Evil
You
timeline.
think it'll be October?
That would be awesome. I think that'd be appropriate. If it's late September and it turns to October 1st when she's like
Unconscious,
there
yeah.
or unconscious, like little things like that, those callbacks I think would be a nice
It
little
doesn't
touch.
matter, but it would be cool.
It would be cool.
It would be cool.
And like, you get the October rain in there, we already saw rain in the trailer. It doesn't look like that was in Raccoon City. That just looks like where she like lives currently. But yeah, the vibe of it just seems very much more of a darker tone.
Yeah.
Even darker than what we got in 7 in many ways. Like that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from this game so far, even though I haven't like played it. But that's just that's one way to put how I'm kind of feeling about the vibe of this game. Because at the end of the day, this is like, this is going back to where a bunch of people lost their lives. This is going back to, a day that changed everybody's lives forever that were involved. So it's a pretty serious date. It's a pretty serious event.
Changed the world of Resident Evil.
It changed the world of Resident Evil. So I think this just seems like a darker game overall compared to 7 and 8 so far. Now, I could be wrong with the tone.
Well,
but
I mean, I think that's pretty safe to say.
Yeah.
7 and 8 were meant to be more a personal, this is a traumatic event for this one individual and his family. Whereas Resident Evil in general has always been about the traumatic event of dealing with the aftermath of bioterrorism, which I think 7 and Village kind of took a step away from. You have Chris kind of dealing with that in the background a little bit. But it's very off camera for most of it. Whereas with this game, it kind of seems like it's going to blend those two together, maybe better than we've ever gotten, which will be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think I like that they're still trying. I like that they're still taking risks because it's risky for them to go back to Raccoon City. It's risky for them to connect all these things, and they're doing it. So I do respect them for that, And again, like Grace having this initial, connection to this case, like you said, like, Nathan Dempsey is in charge, and probably in real life you wouldn't put somebody back on a case that has, or connected to a case that is so close to, their mother and stuff like that. But I think she's the one to do it. She's the one to be so invested in this that she's willing to die for it. She's willing to go in and really uncover the truth. So I like that already about Grace and about her attitude.
Another thing I thought was interesting was the sign in Outbreak that says Rhodes Hill, which is just where we're theorizing where this chronic
care center.
Yeah, chronic care center is.
I mean, it's there. We just don't know where it
says
is in
Warren
correlation to the
Stadium.
city. Yeah.
Rhodes Hill. I wonder if Rhodes Hill is literally a subsection of the city that's sitting on the hills that overlook the city.
Yeah. Rhodes Hill, right? It's in the name.
It's in the name. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking, now that I'm looking at this sign a little bit more, maybe Rhodes Hill is closer to the city than we think it is, which would be even more strange that it's kind of standing, unless you consider,
like I was saying,
the
it's
crater,
upkept, right? So it's like there had to be
the
somebody.
further out the bomb travels, the less damage it's going to do.
Yeah. So I mean, we're just kind of theorizing where this stuff is. We just know that it has to be somewhat close to Raccoon City, and this is essentially where.
Yeah, because Warren Stadium is where the Sharks play.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, and Stadium is named after the Mayor Michael Warren.
Mm-hmm.
That was Catherine Warren was his daughter.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. And then she gets done dirty when the shelf falls on her too. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's just all fucked up. But it's just one of those things, like, I really appreciate that they're showing more of the city in a way that they're like, what could have survived the blast?
Yeah.
The outskirts.
That was one of the first things they probably had to think of. Like,
Yeah.
what survived it? And
We're going to go back.
We're going back.
We're going back to an empty nest.
Yeah, it can't just be completely desolate. It can't. There has to be something standing still.
Maybe if the government building was placed there in Raccoon City for research purposes, maybe Rhodes Hill was still intact enough. That's where they lived.
Yeah, that's where they just moved everything.
They
All
just
the
moved.
research.
They were kind of going between them or whatever.
And that's why it looks the way it does with the shot of, like, the lady walking and everything we've seen in the demo. of that facility. It looks like it's in that facility. There's a child's room. There's a there's all layers to this place. So it's not even like this place is cut in half because the other half got destroyed. This looks like a completely building that's still standing. At least that's how it seems. Now it could be wrong, but So I think they really tried to and one thing I want to mention real quick is visually. This looks great.
It does.
I think this is the best the RE engine has ever looked.
Yes.
As far as how Raccoon City looks, it looks great in the RE engine as well because we've seen it in the RE engine before, but now we're seeing it, post-destruction. And, I think what we've seen in those cutscenes where they're like, they kept saying in the developer, we kept joking about this, the developer direct was the hair and how it falls, and the sweat on her face, and how red her cheeks are,
Yeah,
and
they really wanted
they really wanted to, they brought in a professional to make wigs for the model. They really want to just show the little details and the beads of sweat dripping on her face. And again, all that looks great, and I'm happy that we've gotten this RE engine, the RE engine progression.
And they talk
through the
about
years.
and they talk about, to your point with the hair. They actually brought in the Pragmata team because they developed the Strand engine. Get it? Hair strand?
Hair strand.
Yeah. Not Death Stranding. Hair stranding. Okay? I'm sure Kojima will call them in and be like, can I have your hair strand?
Yeah, we need
Death
to
Strand?
use this.
Yeah. Because he's got it. I don't know if he's ever been vocal about Resident Evil.
I've never heard him say anything.
I'm sure
but
he respects
I'm sure at some
it.
point.
Yeah, I'm sure he respects it for what it is. He seems to be somebody who really appreciates the wild things and the good things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much all we have for RE9, I'd imagine.
Well, there's a little bit more. So they talk about the whole Requiem thing, a eulogy to those who came before, right?
For the developer message, yeah.
So,
and the website.
what do you think Requiem has to do with the overall story? Like the term Requiem. Like, do you think that's? I know there's a few different meanings people have been tossing around. Like, what do you think?
They pretty much confirmed the meaning is exactly what we said. It is the rest for the dead, right? Like, there's other meanings to Requiem, and there was commenters who were saying like, "Oh, you guys know there's other meaning." Of course, we have Webster, we have Google, we looked at all the definitions. It's the one that made the most sense, so that's the one we went with. And then they kind of in the developer message doubled down on that, like the title means more to this, and I think what that means is that this is just going to provide rest for all of the people who lost their lives in Raccoon City. This is the closing chapter of the Raccoon City incident. That's kind of what I get from it.
Me too. Yeah.
And I think that's okay. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always say that Resident Evil is at its best when Umbrella's doing shady shit. I would love for Umbrella to be a part of this game.
Yeah.
They haven't been mentioned yet directly, other than like they're the ones that caused it. I would love for Umbrella to have more lore in this game.
Me too. Yeah. And stuff that just doesn't feel as like lazily placed.
Yeah.
Just like it feels like it fits naturally.
We have to talk about first and third person.
We do.
Because I think that's the only thing we missed.
The second thing is the open world, but we'll talk about the first and third person.
The canceled
first.
open world? Yeah.
So first and third person, you're right. That's a crucial thing. We got confirmed, obviously, that it's going to be first and third person. They showed us gameplay first and third person. Mm-hmm. They basically said that it was like developing another game.
Developing two games on top
of it. To me, we won't know until we play the demo how fluid it feels, but it looks a lot better than what we got in your Village third-person add-on. And you know what I mean? So I think that switching between the two, you're going to get two different experiences, and it looks pretty promising. What do you think?
I think it should feel like Village when you're in first person, and it should feel like RE4 Remake when you're in third person.
I agree.
And not in terms of like parrying and stuff. I mean like as smoothness.
Yes.
RE4 Remake's movement, his schmovement is so good.
Yeah.
So good. RE2's still a little stiff. RE3's better. So it should feel like an RE3 and RE4 remake and not like an RE2 remake, which is a little more stiff.
Yeah.
But when Village has great controls in the game. It has great controls. It has great combat as far as like when you actually have guns to use. Sorry. I can't help but throw some shade. But when your stuff isn't all taken away from you, the actual combat feels really nice.
It does.
Especially on PS5. I love the DualSense.
Yeah.
The shotguns feel really impactful. Also probably drains 20% of the battery per shell, but that's another topic. That's why I always play #plugged in.
Yes.
But I'm excited. This is what we've been asking for a long time. Like we said in our standalone video, everyone wins.
Everyone wins.
If they're making 2 games and one side's not left behind, like you said in the RE Village DLC with Rose, this is a victory.
Yeah. I can't wait to actually mess around in the demo and like play it once, play it the other way. You know, when we get a demo, you know, some people were asking, are we going to be at Gamescom? The answer is no.
We're not going to
We're
Germany.
not going to Germany.
I just realized Leon's definitely going to be in this game.
I mean,
it's all about hair.
It is all about the hair.
And who's got the nicest hair in the fucking...
He's never changed his haircut since 1998.
1998. Even the zombie clone Lowen that attacks him in the police
car. Yeah, even he stole his haircut. Yeah.
Has the same haircut.
Yeah, what the hell's that about?
I don't know.
But yeah, it was cool to just hear them, you know, obviously just confirm that they work just as hard on both perspectives. And like you said,
yeah,
it's something that we can't really...
can't have Strand technology without Leon S. Strand Kennedy.
Yeah, Leon Strand Kennedy coming in. But yeah, I think there's going to be, you know, a good balance of people that prefer one or the other, and that's fine because you get both. So you can't really knock it.
All my first person homies and all my third person homies are going to unite. We're all going to love this game.
Yeah,
it's going to be great. Nobody's going to argue over perspective. I ain't playing first person trash.
Right. And if
I ain't playing third person motion sickness simulator.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you know, if there is going to be inevitably like a VR mode, they could just slap it onto the first person. You know, so yeah, I think that's great. And like we said, we already kind of talked about it before, so we don't have to go into it too much, but it's a win. So that's great. The one thing that was the last thing is the whole open world Resident Evil 9 that apparently was in fact going to happen.
Yes.
So they actually showed us footage of this, which is pretty mental that they did that.
It probably means they'll never touch it.
Yeah, it was an online multiplayer game that was going to be like Outbreak, where you're working together through this, whatever it was, whether it was a city or it was a different location altogether, and it showed us there was different power-ups, there was different, like, you know, people on the screen, you were fighting Mr. X's, you were fighting tyrants and stuff like that. It would not have worked for RE9, but I don't think it would have been a bad spin-off game, but it's not. It shouldn't have been Resident Evil 9. I'm happy they initially scrapped this. What do you think?
So obviously, I can't judge it too much because it's so alpha footage.
It's like a 25-second.
It was like alpha,
clip.
alpha. The fucking walls were white. There was no textures, nothing. It looked like Umbrella Corps slop. Just obviously an RE engine, so it looked nice.
Yeah.
Leave the online massive multiplayer to Monster Hunter. No thanks, bro. I'm good. I don't want it. It's not Resident Evil.
No.
Give me a co-op game? Fine.
Yeah. But I would not have wanted this for a definitive Resident Evil 9.
No.
How the fuck would that have even like gone into somebody's like head? Like 7 and 8's like this, and then 9 is just an open world like game that doesn't have a definitive story because it's open world, or it might have had
terrible.
Yeah, it might have had some story, but it would have just been like loose. Because it would have been back to Outbreak. What if you're playing as Joe Blow and not fucking
he's blowing
Alicia's hoe or whatever?
Yeah, it's like Alicia's hoe.
You know,
Joe Blow.
It's like you're getting two different stories.
Alicia,
like,
what a name.
That's what I'm saying. It's not Alyssa, but not, you know, it's close enough. No, but I don't think this would have been the move. I think if you want to do multiplayer in the future for Resident Evil, it should be co-op multiplayer.
You just make Outbreak.
Yeah, you just do Outbreak.
You just make Outbreak and make it so that every character has a story that's like 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Not even 2 hours long.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be crazy.
Yeah, there's 12 characters. How many characters is there? 6? 8? 8 characters, I think. Let me go through them. Kevin, Cindy, George, Alyssa, Yoko, Jim, David.
You got 8?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay. So I got them all.
So 8.
Yeah. So there's 8 characters, and then obviously there's a ton of like wireframe people and all that. But
yeah, we got Outbreak.
Each of them has a 2-hour scenario. Yeah. Each of them has a 2-hour scenario. Boom. It's a 16-hour game.
Yeah, I mean,
And you can sell all the fucking little costumes. We can get Kevin Ryman in a little Sailor Moon outfit. Yoko in her middle school uniform.
Yeah.
Like the Silent Hill F.
yeah, they could have did that as just a separate game, but you know what? Like a lot of Capcom projects, they sometimes have early concepts and they just throw them out the window and they just move on with ideally a better concept. So,
I have a question for you.
yeah.
This is totally unrelated to the open world thing, kind of. What would you do if they remade Outbreak as Revelation 0 and you only could play as Alyssa? And all the other characters, she kind of went through and in and out of all the other characters' perspectives. Or there could be like an A side, B side, where like A side's Alyssa and B side's another character like Yoko.
Yeah,
or
maybe I
Kevin.
would say maybe have it where it's like a few different scenarios instead of just like Alyssa. I think it would be cool.
Well, what
though.
if they did that though? What if they were like Revelation 0, it's Outbreak, and it's literally just Alyssa's point of view because we now have a stake in her character. But she's taking it to the next step now because her daughter's a main character.
Yeah.
What would you be upset that they just remade Outbreak for that and never brought it back to multiplayer, or would you rather them go all in and kind of do Outbreak as a standalone remake?
I would rather them kind of go all in, maybe.
Yeah, I think I'd rather them do that too.
Yeah.
And just remake it and kind of make it so that the first game is 4 characters so that you get more of each character.
Yeah.
And then file 2 would be the other 4 characters and you get more of each character.
Because I just think that like it would be cool to see all of them return, you know, whether or not they survive or not, or they're around anymore.
Outbreak remake, Cindy gets clapped in the first minute.
Yeah, she ain't even doesn't even have a stake in the race. But yeah, I think maybe that would be cool if they initially did that. Probably not. I mean, you know, they said they want to get away from multiplayer stuff when they close down the reverse stuff, and maybe that's versus multiplayer. Maybe that's not just co-op.
Yeah.
I know, but they said that wasn't initially in the, and that leads into their, now that they canceled the open world thing for a 9, that kind of leads right into their statement where it's like they're trying to turn a new leaf. Like, this won't have a multiplayer add-on in this game. This will just be single player. This is not going to have multiplayer. RE9 will not have multiplayer. This will
only
just have
player,
DLC probably. Could be Leon, could be whoever's DLC for another scenario. But other than that, so I think that's what they tried to like, because you had Resistance and then you had, then you had Reverse. So it's like, I think they're just like, don't expect that onto this game at all. Like, no additional. That's what I think that statement meant when they shut down Reverse. Like, we're turning a new corner. This is like a new era where we're not touching that anymore. We're not paying a third-party team to do this.
If Outbreak got canned because of that.
It would be, and that's what people could say, well, this game was shaping up to be like that, but I wouldn't like that for an RE9 game. No. It should just be a spin-off.
I don't even like 7 and Village as numbered titles. I don't think they fit the criteria enough for a numbered title. Yes, they have elements, and yes, 7 is in all intents and purposes a reboot of 1 in certain ways, but they're not what you expect from a Resident Evil game. There's a lack of world building that you just don't get in those 2 games because they're more personal journeys. They feel to me more like Revelations games.
Yeah.
Not in quality. I'm not saying that Revelations are bad. I'm not saying 7 and Village are bad necessarily. I mean, I do think that Village is, but I like 7. I just think that they're more fit for a spin-off title, or if Resident Evil 7 could have been called like, Resident Evil...
or just call it Resident Evil Biohazard.
Biohazard, or Resident Evil The Baker Farm, or Resident Evil Ethan's Odyssey, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And then the second one could be Ethan's Revenge or something. I don't know. Taken, Ethan.
Yeah.
Ethan's daughter, Rose was taken.
But
regardless, one way I think Outbreak could really work, and I'm curious of your thoughts on this, but if Resident Evil was ever outsourced, you know who could make a really good Outbreak game?
Who's that?
Telltale.
Interesting.
I think Telltale could make a really good Outbreak
I haven't been
game.
up with Telltale since like 2016. I'll be honest.
I haven't
with you.
played anything of theirs other than the Batman and
Yeah.
the
I got Telltale'd out.
the Walking Dead,
Yeah.
but I think Outbreak would really work in a Telltale style game where it's more cutscene story driven with decisions. And Capcom might be able to do that themselves in-house as a spin-off if they aren't going to give us multiplayer.
Doesn't Telltale just do comic graphics though? Like that cell shaded kind of graphic style?
The Telltale engine, yes, they do. They do that kind of style.
I don't know how I'd feel about that for RE. That wouldn't really feel...
That wouldn't bother me too much because RE already has comics. As long as it's
That's
not
true.
overly anime, if it was more Western comic style like they are,
or
I
they
think it
move
would be
in like
fine.
10 frames per second on purpose,
Yeah.
which I knew they did that because it was more emulating a comic.
Yeah.
That
I
would
like
just be
the art
very
style.
jarring.
It would be very interesting.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they have to do it that way. If Capcom does it in-house, they could do it in engine, an RE engine.
Well, that's why if they still keep that Neobards team around,
Yeah.
on a fucking, they let them out of the room every now and again to make something. We'll see, but I don't know because they pretty much
Here's
said,
your bioweapon pet to your pet.
Here's your fucking game that's gonna take 2 years to come out, and then when it comes out, we're gonna shut down the servers. Like, yeah, I am still under the impression
You can get out of the room today, get some sunshine.
Yeah, you can walk around and touch grass, see your family. But I shouldn't say such things. But
No, I mean, that's what it felt like.
Yeah, I all I'm gonna say is that Reverse, even though it's shut down, you should still let people play it. You should still make private matches.
It's all right.
available.
It'll be hacked. There'll be private lobbies up.
Yeah, I mean,
fans
console
will
players are
fix
fucked.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. But regardless, we'll see if we get that game one day. Some kind of spin-off of a multiplayer Outbreak ideal situation.
I still don't understand how they haven't. This is a whole different topic we'll get to one day, but I still don't understand how they haven't made a Mercenaries game standalone.
Yeah,
Besides the 3D.
that comes up a lot too.
3DS.
That comes up a lot because you could do that in RE Engine. You have so many maps in the RE Engine. You have all these characters in the RE Engine. Just fucking use them.
Mercenaries should have been the standalone. Mercenaries should have been the standalone to RE4 or 3.
I would say 3.
Yeah, even
Why
3.
was Mad Jackal cut for Resistance?
Yeah. You should have RE, Mercenaries, right? And then every time they came out with a remake, that standalone title should have gotten updates. And they could have sold it for $30.
Yeah.
I would have bought it. I would have bought every single expansion $10. I would have bought it. Up until $100 total. They could have expanded it over.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could have got new maps. Like, imagine if you had a Mercenaries game, you had a game that was a companion piece to the other games, but also a standalone game for multiplayer.
That people could just jump in,
Because
play
people might not
co-op
like the
and-
new ones. Yeah. Then you go, RE9 comes out, and boom, you have an RE9 map. You have 3 RE9 maps and all the RE9 enemies, but you can play as Leon from RE2 or Chris from RE5.
Yeah, have the team work on that like a third-party team where you're Neo.
That's what they should do.
Yeah.
If you're
because
listening to this, Capcom, it's money. Go
it is.
print it.
It is.
People will buy that shit. And you can put like fucking Chris in a tutu and all that shit as skins and people will buy it.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the thing, too. I think, again, what we got in the DS game, it was cool, but, like, we should get that on a larger scale.
Yeah.
'Cause that was such a, like,
Why waste
one-off.
your money on just the DS?
Yeah.
I get the DS is unique and cool, but nothing about that game couldn't have been done on console.
Right.
I've played it a lot.
Yeah.
Nothing could be done on that game that couldn't have been done on console.
Yeah. So, and like you said, to have it kind of go underneath all these releases and just get updates,
Yeah.
that would just, like you said, print money.
Yeah. Even if it was free to play, make it free to play. You want to do this whole free to play bullshit that everybody likes to do now, the Fortnite
we are
model,
in that era,
right?
yeah.
Make it
The
free to
live
play and
service
just
shit.
sell the skins and the
Yeah.
weapons and shit.
Yeah, you're gonna get haters no matter what. You're gonna get that feedback. No
Yeah,
matter
for
what,
sure.
So let's get into this Resident Evil reboot that Zach Cregger is putting together. There has been not much that we've heard or seen from the actual project. We just heard more from the director himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a new movie called Weapons coming out, which is a new horror film. Looks interesting. He did Barbarian, which was just okay in my opinion. Some people really liked it. And he was also the founding member of The Whitest Kids You Know, which a lot of people were surprised that he's taking on this project. But this is it's gonna set to star Austin Abrams, and basically his quote is what a lot of people have been talking about and expressing some disappointment in his approach. Some people are open-minded to it, but this is what he said. So this is from comicbook.com. Because I love the games, I played all of the games. I played Resident Evil 4 100 times through. I'm obsessed with it, and so I just want to tell a story that feels like it's honoring the experience you get when you play the games. And then he continued, I haven't seen the movies. That's just not my thing, but the games are my thing. That's just a playground I just love. I think the movie is going to rip. I think it's going to rip. So he goes on to say, there's a moment that comes in every moment of Resident Evil game where you find yourself standing in the mouth of a dark passageway. One shot in the gun is left, he said. You know that something as horrible is waiting for you in the darkness. The awful moment where you have to will yourself. That's something that every Resident Evil game has perfected and has kept me and millions of other players returning to the series. And then he added to the film that it will be built in the spirit of those games and follow one central protagonist from point A to point B as they descend deeper into hell. And the biggest thing that, so far he's just saying, okay, I'm a fan of the games, didn't check out the movies, whatever. But this is what people are really pissed about. They're really pissed. The fact that he says that he played RE4 over and over again. He loves it. I'm definitely not trying to be completely obedient to the lore of the games. I'm trying to tell a story that just feels authentic to the experience you get when you play the games. I don't think I'm breaking the major rules, but I also recognize that no matter what I do, people are going to come for me online. So all I want to do is just make a really good movie and tell a story that's compelling, and I know that I'm going to be happy with the movie, and hopefully others will too. So, John, what are your thoughts on Zach Cregger's comments?
I think it's really funny that he says he hasn't seen the movies because that's just not his thing. But you're making a movie, so movies should be your thing, right? I also think it's asinine, not to come at this guy's throat, but I think it's asinine for people to not watch what came before them. Because if you're going to make a movie for a franchise, you need to understand what worked and what didn't work before.
Why were fans pissed?
Oh, I love the games, but I don't watch the movies. I haven't seen the movies. What's wrong? You don't have 2 hours on a Tuesday to just watch them before this? This is work.
Yeah, I agree.
Literally work. Like the first thing I would do, throw any franchise out there. John, you're directing a movie for Metal Gear. Okay, maybe it's a little too extreme. But Metal Gear. The first thing I'm going to do is go play all the games. On work time.
Yeah.
Play all the games. Watch any movies that came out and watch the developer interviews to figure out what Kojima wanted to do, what he intended for and all that, and then do my best to translate that even if it's an original story. Just because you watch the game or play the games or watch the games even, some people say they play the games and they just watch playthroughs.
That's true.
Playthroughs online, right?
If it's too hard for them
or they watch somebody else play it. I think that is right there ironic. The movies aren't my thing. Then why the fuck are you directing one?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not this is being taken out of context by me, this could mean that, like, I don't like game movies. I know they're always bad, so I don't watch them. Then why are you making one?
Yeah.
Are you basically saying already that your movie's going to be bad? Because that's how it comes across. And I know Zach Cregger is a bit smaller on scale than like a Spielberg.
Yeah,
or
he's
Anderson.
getting more work. He's building his catalog. Yeah.
So who knows if he'll see this? I hope he does. Please watch the movies.
Please.
I mean, it's probably already too late into production to save you.
Yeah, the script's probably done.
Right?
Yeah.
But don't fall into the same trap of, I don't want to be influenced. Anthony, we're YouTubers. I watch YouTube.
So do I.
We watch a ton of YouTube.
Every day.
Because we want to see what other people are doing, how they're doing it, what we like, what we don't like. If you are not taking a moment of your day to be a better you in your career field than you were yesterday by absorbing and learning about other things around you,
are you really doing your job?
Go home. You're not doing what you love. I get immersed in this stuff because I love this stuff. And I'm not a director. I won't pretend to be. Could I try it? Yeah. Do I want to try it? Kinda. But I'd try it on a smaller scale. I wouldn't go for something like this. But I'm not going to disregard something. You imagine if I got a directing role for a Silent Hill movie and I was just like, yeah,
I'm doing my own thing, bro.
I don't like the games. I didn't play them. I do like the movies, though. How pissed do you think fans would be?
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean? I watched all the Silent Hill movies. I love them. I'm going to do something with my own take of something like that. Have you played the games? They're not my thing. Why am I on this project then?
Yeah.
Right? Like, why would you not want to study and learn?
Now, what if he was like, well, I'm saying that because I care more about the games than the movies.
That's fine.
And it's like, that's fine, but you should see what
the
movies,
interpretation was.
Yeah, and where they got it wrong. Mm-hmm. Where Paul Anderson got his stuff wrong with his own story, with Alice and their own story. And then Welcome to Raccoon City going off of the games, which he could ignore that one fine. I'll give you that one.
Every single one of those live action movies have something to learn, whether it be positive or negative.
That's true, yeah.
Even like the Paul Anderson movies, it doesn't matter how far they got. Cinematography and the set pieces were always fantastic. Doesn't mean they were right from the game. Doesn't mean they were perfect. Doesn't mean I don't like more of this one than this one or whatever. But it was always fantastic. Welcome to Raccoon City had some amazing set design and some amazing costumes.
It did, yeah.
Some questionable casting and some very questionable storyline because they tried to do too much.
Way too much.
Asinine sequel setup. But you have to watch these, man. I don't Zach, if for some reason you're looking for feedback or you're looking for engagement on how fans are, which he's probably not. He's probably closed, off. Because it can get to your mental health, for sure. And I'm not trying to attack him or anything. I'm just saying I think it's very insane to say this publicly when you have fans, and he says it down here, right? He says, I also recognize that no matter what I do, people are going to come for me online. Do you know what that is? That's an excuse. Of course
that's a cop-out answer.
It's a fucking obvious answer.
Yeah.
You could make the second Mona Lisa and people are going to be like, why has she got a big nose?
Yeah.
Right? You're going to have criticism no matter what.
Yeah.
So you don't need to say that. That, to me, sounds like an apologist.
Before it even happens.
Oh, I know. I'm not going to please everyone. No, that's not what you say. That's just not what you say.
Yeah.
You should say something like, somebody in the comments or whatever watching this video is going to be like, so John, what should he say? I'm going to do my best. This part I love. There's a moment where you all will have, you have just one bullet left and you're staring into the Maw of Darkness or whatever he says, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true up until like maybe Resident Evil 4. And then after that, it's not like that. But you do have those moments. And that's the feeling that he wants to capture. That's beautiful. I hope my vision of what that means to me will please fans of this series and they'll appreciate what it is I'm trying to do. That's all he needed to say.
Yeah.
He didn't need to say it, but he didn't need to apologize beforehand because that's what this comes across as. All I want to do is make a really good movie and tell a story that's compelling. I know that I'm going to be happy with the movie and hopefully other people will too. No offense, but we don't care if you're happy with your movie. That's not what a movie is. As a director, yes. You should always be proud of yourself. For sure. Even if this movie bombs, he should still be proud of himself for this opportunity and what he's accomplished with this. No matter what it is, it's a creation and not everybody can do it. But nobody cares if you like it or not.
Yeah.
Look at the Siphon Filter creator. He fucking hates Siphon Filter.
Nowadays,
he literally despises it. Doesn't want to talk about it, doesn't want to look at it, nothing. Does that mean we should too? Because he's unhappy with it?
Absolutely not.
No, if you're unhappy with something, you move on, right?
Well, Zach Cregger specifically has been falling into these tropes of like the first thing he said was back to the roots, which we've heard before.
Again.
And then he does this again. And so it's just like, you're digging a hole already before you even showed us a glimpse of this.
Back to what roots are we going?
Yeah, because he says it should follow a single character going A to B.
In the first two games, the games that are the most iconic, and then 3 comes right after that. Where in either of those routes does it follow a single character from point A to point B? Because both of those games have multiple characters.
They all have multiple characters.
Even RE3 has Carlos.
Yes.
But you're mostly playing as Jill, so I'll give him that.
Yeah.
So is he directly going for that? RE4 is a single character. What roots are we talking about? Are we going back to the roots of Resident Evil 4? Because that's when the single character narrative really kicked off, because it was just Leon going in.
And that's the game he references. He
And that's
says,
the game he
I've been playing
references.
Resident Evil 4, like,
So is that the roots of the franchise? Or is that where we're at now, where the roots are the fifth mainline entry?
Yeah.
You got to be careful how you talk like
Yeah.
this. This is like what we talked about with the RE9 stuff. Everybody's jumping all over him. Well, at least he's a creator for the actual franchise.
You mean Nakanishi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just a stand-in director. And I don't care if you're Zach Cregger. I don't care if you're James Cameron.
Yeah.
If you're taking on something that certain groups of people hold dear to their heart and soul. I said whole as like us heart and soul together.
Yeah.
They're whole.
Yeah.
Right?
In their chest from being hurt. No.
Yeah. You have to respect the fans, or who's going to like your stuff, dude? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Because here's the thing, and I know a lot of people are like, well, his barbarian and like weapons could be really good, but that doesn't mean anything when it comes to Resident Evil. That's the point, is that like, yeah, your other, like Johannes Roberts. I really loved Strangers Pray at Night. I thought it was a decent sequel to The Strangers. Didn't like it as much as The Strangers, but I liked it. And I was like, cool. But just because I liked that movie or enjoyed parts of it, it has nothing to do with when you're taking on, like you said, something we hold near and dear to our hearts. Now, Johannes Roberts, the only thing I think he probably said, or the studio said, or a producer said, was back to the roots. But Johannes Roberts didn't even make these kind of comments. He kind of just stayed quiet, and we kind of saw glimpses of what he was doing, and then we saw the cast, and then the rest was history. So
It's not just a baby IP, Anthony. You know what I mean?
30 years old.
Resident Evil is one of the largest video game franchises of all time. It has spawned one of the most ludicrous amounts of titles. Maybe Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Resident Evil. I know I always say those three. Final Fantasy especially has like 100 titles at this point, like with all the spin-offs included. But they've been around for a long time.
Long time,
A
man.
long time.
Yeah.
We've gotten more Resident Evil games in the last 10 years than Silent Hill has gotten as a franchise.
Yeah.
Like,
Now,
besides pachinko machines. But.
yeah, the pachinko machines. Now, if I'm not going to give a lot of weight to the leaked script because we don't know if it's real.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
But I was just going to say that, like, we can't really use that as a gauge. But if we did, it's pretty close to this AB1 character. Like, there's other characters that do show up in that script, but
Well, you're going to have more than one character. Like,
of course.
Yeah, of
but
course.
like, it has nothing to do with the game from what I read. Now, if that's false and he's doing his own thing from what he's saying, he's not doing the lore, he's not doing anything, then again, yes, expect another standalone story like your Alice, like somebody else, another average dude like your Ethan, like somebody else has no connection to S.T.A.R.S, no connection to FBI,
Yeah.
and he's just going through, not a government agent, he's just going through this, he's going through the woods, he's going to this hospital maybe. We don't know what this will be. But, if Austin Abrams, he isn't Leon, he has blonde hair, but he's not Leon. If he's just like a Leon but not Leon, then it's like, well, then why didn't you just make him Leon at that point? That's what's going to piss me off, is that, like, I think we talked about this a little bit.
You always want to give the author the intent, the ability to showcase his stuff the right way the first time.
Absolutely. And it could be a first draft. It could be,
It could be
you know what I
it
mean?
could be a lie.
Yeah. It could
And
just be fake.
we're not in the business of spreading false information.
No.
We just talk and give our opinion on it.
No, that's a good point. And,
yeah.
and again, I'm not going to go into those details. I'm just saying that, yeah, it's not really giving me the vibe that this guy is really going to even attempt to have those characters in there. He could, but I think what pisses me off is when they take Resident Evil and it's like, this movie could have been anything else, and Resident Evil's just slapped on it. And I know we talked about that before in one of our videos or podcasts, but I think it was I think it was one of the last podcasts before the RE9 one, before RE9 got announced,
Yeah.
when we talked about like,
There's a
I just
podcast-
don't want it slapped on there.
Well, that's the problem. There's a podcast we recorded that they haven't seen yet.
No.
And they might not see that podcast because that podcast is kind of dated now because we got a bunch of new information.
Yeah, unfortunately it is.
Yeah, which is fine. Maybe we'll upload it for members only so
Yeah.
they can listen to it or something.
Yeah,
You can put
yeah.
the raw audio out so they can hear what's being talked about in there. But I will say as a disclaimer, and I want your thoughts on this too, there has been some comments that apparently Zach Cregger has done a podcast and has talked a lot about his fandom of Resident Evil, like what his history is with the franchise, what he's played, et cetera, et cetera. And we have not seen that podcast. So we don't know. But nothing that he's going to say on that is going to make me feel any better about what he says here. Because if he's a real fan, and he is a true fan, I don't see how this lines up with his vision. Unless Capcom was like, hey, we don't want you to use anything from the games. We want it to be original. Then I'll accept his excuse.
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they could say something like that. We don't know. We're not there. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. It could be something forced upon him. We don't want you referencing this or this. We don't want to make the games confusing.
Or we've already tried this before.
Yeah,
Let's
we've
not
already
do it
tried this
again.
before. Yeah, welcome to Raccoon City. Destroyed that. We don't know. But what do you think about this whole argument that continuously is on rotation of being a true fan?
I think that most people have to, take everything that people say with a grain of salt because, even if you played RE4 a bunch of times and you have good filmmaking skills, that doesn't mean that you can produce something that is worthy of using the time and the money and the budget that Sony and Screen Gems are going to give you no matter whatever he asks for, whatever the script demands.
Yeah.
Being a true fan, it's
not Concord's team.
Yeah, not Concord's team. But yeah, that's going to be like the true fan thing. I just think that like when you're just coming out and saying it's like, dude, that words are useless.
Mm-hmm.
Words are meaningless. Actions speak louder than words. So you got to take action. You got to put together a production that actually is worth a damn and a script that's worth a damn. And like I said, we haven't, necessarily seen a final product. We haven't seen a trailer. We haven't seen anything. But if we see this trailer, and it is just in fact this just movie that could have been named anything else, but it's put out just for the sake of the license and all that stuff, and a liquor's here and a zombie's here. Maybe they have running zombies. Who knows what the fuck he wants to do, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just guessing. I just think the true fan thing just goes out the window because it's like, how are you going to make me feel like
Agreed.
this is a true Resident Evil movie on the big screen? Because like you said, we are going to go see it in person. We are going to give it the benefit of the doubt. We are going to go see this and review it. We are going to talk about it.
For sure,
So
definitely.
it's like, it's not like we're sitting here like, nope, we're not going to watch it. Fuck it. We're going to give it a chance.
And what's that? What is that, Anthony? By definition, that's a true fan.
Yeah.
Somebody who's going to go absorb and watch and experience it, even if they come out negative. That is a true fan or an elite fan, whatever you want to call it. Can you be a fan of something and not fully immerse yourself in every single corner? Yes. But that's not what a true fan is. When I say true fan, when I think of that phrase, I think of true meaning absolute. You're an absolute fan of something. You know what's not a true fan, Anthony? Somebody who hasn't seen the movies.
Really? Because some people would argue in the comments and say, well, you're part of the problem because you're supporting the movie, you're
Bullshit.
supporting the studios.
Absolute excuse.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't agree with that comment. That we see online where people are like, part of this, part
being
of that.
part of the problem, you vote with your wallet, right? But do you want your IP to die? Or are you criticizing it on a different platform? Are you reviewing it? Are you being vocal that you didn't like something?
It's all relative to the audience members
for sure.
specifically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being part of the problem is a good example of that is complaining about microtransactions and then spending $100 a month on them.
constantly.
Yeah. Not spending $100 on your absolute favorite stuff. If you're like a Resident Evil guy and you're like us, and you're like, oh, I just want to have all the costumes. Let me just spend $10 and get all the costumes. That's not being part of the problem. That's being a true fan. Being part of the problem is playing a Korean grinder MMO like I used to and spending thousands of dollars on something that doesn't even matter because it ends up getting replaced anyway. That's being part of the problem.
Or, being a dick and, harassing people online,
Yeah.
like these people involved in the films or these voice actresses. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, that's part of the problem,
You're
for
a
sure.
pain in the ass. You're a piece of shit for that.
You criticize like the Lily Gal stuff with Ada.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was referencing.
Yeah, for sure.
And then even him, he's like, I know people are going to come for me online. Like I said in the standalone video that I made, I was like, we don't condone that here. We're not toxic. And it's like, if you just don't like what he's saying and you don't like his movies or whatever, so be it. If you want to vote with your wallet and not see this movie, that's fine. It's not like we're going to be like, well, that means you're not a true fan, so to speak. You know what I mean? We're just saying, all right, you saw what you liked what you didn't like in the trailer. You didn't go see it. That's fine. You can make a judgmental critique when you see a trailer.
Yeah. I'm a little different on that. If you're a true fan, you should consume it because you need to know.
Maybe eventually, but maybe not go see it in the theater.
That doesn't make you a true fan.
Right.
As long as you're going to watch this at some point so you understand where the franchise is failing or where it's succeeding, you're a true fan. If you want to put it off for a year or two, whatever.
Right.
If you have the intention of buying it on Blu-ray or renting it when it goes to rent, that's still a true fan.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to the theater to see
watch it for free.
Not
There's ways to watch it.
Not everybody has access to funding for that. That's not what it means. A true fan is somebody who will consume it if they have the opportunity. So I'm not trying to alienate nobody, but if you're somebody who's just going to be like, oh, the movies are always bad, so I'm not going to bother going to see it. That's sad. They lost you. Our love supersedes, the criticism.
Yeah.
And people are going to come for him. Yeah, for sure. But the way to do that is to criticize the work.
Once it's
his
out.
vision is not good. His vision is bad. His direction is bad. No, not death threats and all that shit that people get into. We definitely don't condone that.
No.
But yeah, if you are putting yourself out there and you are putting your work out there, I'm sorry to say you're open to criticism, whether it be a statue or a movie or a game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're putting it out there.
And it's a franchise, like you said, that's 30 years old. So it has a long history, a lot of fans, a lot of different fans, a lot of fans that got into it from the movies, a lot of fans that got into it from the midway point of the franchise, the actual games. So that's why we never alienate people that, come here from different walks of life, from the movies, from, whatever part of the game series that you come into, because if you like it, you like it. It got you to the dance. Now you're here. You're a Resident Evil fan. That's cool. We don't gatekeep here. But
no, and that's the thing. A true fan, that doesn't mean you have to go back and play the games you missed. That doesn't mean anything. It just means when you have the opportunity, you consume. That's what you do. It doesn't matter what your IP or franchise or anything is.
Yeah.
A true fan of a sports team is going to watch the highlights if they miss the game. Right? If you're a casual fan, that's okay. There's nothing wrong. I'm a casual Denver Broncos fan. I don't pay for every game. It doesn't make me any less valuable.
Right.
But it doesn't make me a true fan. I'm not a true fan. I don't have peanuts on my wall, and I don't have fucking or pennants, whatever you want to call them. I don't have funny story. I call them peanuts because that's what I called them when I was little on the PS2 NCAA game.
Yeah.
Peanuts. I don't think they're called peanuts. I think they're called pennants. But I don't have pennants on the wall. I don't have a little mini helmet signed by my favorite player. I don't have a jersey. I don't have merch.
I guess hardcore fan would be a better
Hardcore
way.
and true, I think, are synonymous.
Really?
True means absolute, the truth. So if you're talking absolute fan, are you an absolute fan of something if you haven't played half the games in the series? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And there's some caveats to that, of course. Like, if you can't get access to Outbreak, doesn't make you not a true fan because you don't have access. They don't sell it.
Yeah, or if you don't have a movie theater in
But you know what
50
a
miles
true-
because
yeah,
they closed down 6
exactly.
movie theaters, that
Exactly.
doesn't make you not a true fan.
But what would a true fan do? A true fan would go on this podcast and listen to us talk about the movie. A true fan would go on Wikipedia and read about it.
Or watch videos
Or
to
watch a video
get
about
some
it.
information
Or
and
watch a Let's
knowledge.
Play about it because they can't play it for themselves. And I would reckon 60 to 80% of our audience are true fans. They consume everything in Resident Evil, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about YouTube is you kind of build communities that are like that. But for example, Pokemon. I love Pokemon to death. I am a massive Pokemon fan. I am not a true fan. I don't collect the cards. I don't. I am a fan of the video games, the mainline video games. I don't play the spin-offs.
Yeah.
I don't collect the cards. I don't watch the TV show anymore. 11-year-old me was a true fan, but they lost me on some things. I'm not trying to downplay or degrade anybody's fandom. You can be a fan in a lot of different merits. And I don't even think he was the one who claimed he was a true fan. It's other people claiming he's a true fan.
Mm-hmm. He just said he's a fan of the games.
He's a fan of the games. He
just
doesn't like the movies.
And the movies aren't his thing.
But a lot of the narrative that people are saying in the comments and people are saying on news reporting is like, oh, he's a real fan. He's a true fan.
Or he's a good horror director. I know he'll do a good job.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. Dude, Steven Spielberg and James Cameron are two of the best directors of all time. They both have shit movies.
Yeah.
Cameron's a little more percentage-wise good. He puts out knockout punches a lot.
Yeah.
You know, Titanic and Avatar and all that. But everybody's got bad movies. It doesn't make them a bad director. He could have a hit knockout movie and then make a terrible... We see this all the time in video games.
Yeah.
You have a great game and then a terrible sequel. Resident Evil got lucky and didn't really have a bad game until Code Veronica. You know, critically, it didn't have a bad game until Code Veronica.
Yeah.
But even Code Veronica at the time was praised for a lot that looking back now it gets criticized for.
It does.
Right? So... I don't know. I feel like we're harping a little bit too much on the true fan thing because there's not much to talk about here. But all I'm going to say is my closing thoughts before I let you wrap this section up. Zach Cregger, I definitely think it's a mistake not to watch the movies. I think that's just asking for you to make or retread the same mistakes. There's also a possibility that he's going to go so far in a different direction that none of those mistakes repeat. Or... And I'm going to call it right here on the show, the mistake that is most likely to be made because he hasn't seen the old movies is he's going to throw in a, remember this? Mm-hmm. Or there it is. There's Umbrella's logo. Or there's this whatever. Or oh, there's this monster. There's this BOW. He's going to throw that in to his movie and think that's enough to capture the core essence of what Resident Evil is.
Just so they can slap Resident Evil on the title.
That's why this is Resident Evil. And this movie, of all of them, is the one that has that risk the most. Because Welcome to Raccoon City, despite the fact we don't like it, it's definitely a Resident Evil movie. It's got Jill, it's got Chris, it's got Leon, it's got Claire, it's got Birkin, it's got
There's
RPD.
no mistaking it's during the Raccoon City.
It's Resident Evil.
Outbreak.
It's just not good Resident Evil. But it's Resident Evil. Then you go to Paul Anderson, and he took the Umbrella concept and ran with that.
And the Hive.
And he came up with the Red Queen, and like he has his own vision. So it's unmistakably a Resident Evil movie. It's not until after Apocalypse where that starts to become like, what are we doing? We're cosplaying and
clones.
Yeah, well, that's even further than Extinction too. But
I'm saying Extinction has clones.
Yeah,
but
well,
it gets
I'm saying
worse.
It gets worse. Yeah. Extinction still has remnants of
a little
this
bit.
Is Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But it's mostly Apocalypse is where the Resident Evilness ends. And then it's just Umbrella gets thrown here, Wesker gets killed by a door, all this stuff happens. Like there's a whole bunch of weird parasite shit. Apocalypse literally opens with the RE5 monster chasing her. And for some reason we're in Mad Max all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So I feel like people follow what I'm saying here. It runs the risk.
Yeah.
This could all be incredibly, in hindsight, stupid because he could knock it out of the park.
He could.
And I hope he does.
Well, that's why we want to go to the theater and we want to leave surprised.
Yeah, and I want to support his vision, but I will criticize it if it's not good. I want Resident Evil to not. I'm holding out for a good movie, as I'm sure many fans are, including yourself.
Yeah.
So I will buy a ticket. I will go to the theater. I will see it. I will buy the 4K. I have all the movies on 4K and Blu-ray and DVD, the ones that are on DVD.
Yeah.
I have them all so that I can pull it off the shelf and go, did I miss something? Is this good? Then I take Welcome to Raccoon City back out and I'm like, nope, it's still bad.
Yeah.
And I put it back in the disc.
Yeah.
Or in the case. I'm a true fan of Resident Evil. I really do love everything this franchise has to offer. And at some point in my life, yes, I've had to sell some stuff and I've had to get rid of some stuff, but I've had the guidebooks, I've had the toys, I've had the movies, I have everything. Everything. The book. Our friend has the VHS tape, The Birth of Biohazard, one of the rarest things ever. Like, we obviously can't get everything.
No.
Some things are just hard to find. Some things are too expensive to be financially responsible for. And there are some people out there who on Twitter and stuff who have massive collections that have way more than us. And that's great. They also probably watch all the movies and play all the games and they're true fans, you know? So I'm not attacking him specifically. This narrative that like these people are true fans of this franchise, it's not true. They're not. You don't not watch the movies and you're a true fan. He could be a fan of the games, for sure. But a game and a movie, Anthony, are very different.
Yeah. And I think that's the one thing people are, worried about. Like, if you were going after a game, you can't do it one for one. It would be too janky. It wouldn't work, right? So that's why he's doing something different. And I know we talked about that in a few episodes ago when we talked about the movies and how that can sometimes work and it can't work. And I know you said you like his approach that he's doing something new, something different.
I would rather them do something fresh and make it feel like it's the Resident Evil world than to do something horrid with our characters like Welcome to Raccoon City. I still think it's bullshit that they can't do it right. I definitely think Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 can all be made into excellent movies.
Mm. Yeah.
I actually think 2 and 3 being together makes more sense than 1 and 2 being together.
Yeah.
In that movie universe, they can't even have a Resident Evil 3.
No, they can't. They had no room for it.
Their best monster on deck. Wasted.
Yeah.
Thrown out. Nemesis is just gone.
Yep. That whole Jill escape story
It's
not
gone.
there. Yeah. So that's why we feel very passionate about the movies overall, and like John said, like we're fans of it. We just want to see it good, and I guess we'll see what more happens with Zach Cregger. I'm sure we'll hear more about it soon as we get rumblings of more cast come out, more sets and stuff like that. If some of that stuff gets leaked, we'll see.
If somebody's out there with a massive check and they want to see a good Resident Evil movie, email us.
Well,
I'll take it. We'll take it on.
I'm already.
I promise you, we can do a better movie than they can.
Yeah. I will be filming Resurrection coming up, so that will be another
which is a
fan
start.
film.
The
It's a
fan
start.
film is already better than everything we've ever gotten.
Yeah, a lot of people.
That's true fans, by the way.
Yes.
Making that stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like that's why I think when we throw our hat in the ring in that way, it's us putting everything on the line, our reputation, our name, how close we are with this franchise. You put a lot on the line to do something like this when fans are giving you their money, their hard-earned dollar,
And Capcom
to
could
make
go
something
and take it all away in an instant.
Yes.
You risk it, and
Yeah.
you risk it because you're true fans.
Yeah. You put your heart and soul into it, and Beggy worked her fucking ass off to get the script to where it's at and to be a producer and yeah, there's just a lot. There's so much moving parts, and I think once you're in it, you start to see how things evolve in these massive studios where things have so much input and there's things that can go wrong. When you're a smaller team, it's a little bit easier to keep that vision in mind. There's a lot of things that can, when you're in these big studios, multi-million dollars, there's so many suits in the kitchen and they're making these decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think depending on how Zach Cregger can navigate that, if he can stick to his core vision, and he has a vision to begin with whatever script he comes up with, we'll be okay.
And I think to his defense with this too, I think that with Resident Evil, especially Japanese properties in general, this is very true of Paul Anderson as well, and Johan Roberts. I do think they're a lot more hands off than Hollywood. So he's going to have full control of this movie.
I hope so.
This is going to be his failure or his success.
Yeah.
Just like it was Paul's. I don't think they're going to go, actually, you can't, They give those up front and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't think they're actually going to go in and tweak it and all that.
No, I hope so. And like we said, he's done, some solid movies, I guess. And I haven't seen Weapons yet. It's not out. It's coming out this week of this recording.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll have a chance to go check it out. But, I might go see it and say, hey, that was actually pretty good. I could see some elements of his filmmaking or his vision that could bleed into Resident Evil. We'll see, But yeah, I think that's all we had to say really about the Zach Cregger stuff. And we'll just have to see if more stuff kind of comes out in the next, because it's coming out next September. So they got to start filming soon because it'll come out in literally less than a year's time. By the time RE9 comes out, they'll probably already be filming. So, and start cutting stuff. So we'll start seeing some trailers by probably like early to mid next year if they film this thing in the fall. And so let's move things on to the last thing of the show.
Yeah.
Which, we did a video on and we talked about.
And that video is pretty much absolute coverage.
Yeah. Like, we did a full coverage on it. But Resident Evil has gone mobile.
Yes.
So it has...
In the palm of your hand,
In the
Anthony.
palm of your hand. Soon, probably by the end of this year, you'll be able to play Resident Evil Survival Unit, which is this brand new... survival. It's not even. I guess you'd call it
survival horror strategy. Is what they're calling
survival
it.
horror strategy is what they're coining it. And this is developed by the South Korean studio Joy City, distributed by Aniplex, which is a Japanese studio, and it's coming out for Apple and Android. And this was shown or announced at the Anime Expo, and so a lot of people were kind of surprised by this, and
a lot of people were very
angry,
of course.
We kind of saw this whole demonstration, which kind of went through stuff. The opening it's almost like you're this no-name Joe Blow protagonist, and you're a test subject by Umbrella. You wake up and you're trying to escape, and basically it's a parallel world with our familiar characters. So, you're in the, you're uncovering details, and you have new dangers, and the forges, the alliance, the team that you get. It's basically just a whole rehash of, Jill, your Alyssas, your Marvins, no Chris, you get Leon.
Not yet.
Stuff like that. So you're basically... This team is coming together, and you go back to get resources. You go back to this mansion, and you have all of your
mansion's like your hub.
Base. Your base of operations, right? So you're trying to have this strategic. It's kind of like a strategic stronghold, and of course you have different upgrades and stuff like that you can get, that you can purchase, that you can actually buy with your real money. And whether or not people like that or not is just, that's mobile games, though. You can't really get away from mobile games without some kind of like transactions on top of it, because that's how they make their money. So
one of the things that I would say about that, which this is a whole different topic that you and I might tackle one day,
sure,
on like your Everything channel, if we ever do a podcast over there, or on my channel, not this channel, but it's an excuse. Mobile games can absolutely exist without microtransactions. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, but at one point the entire Final Fantasy library, like the Pixel ones, Final Fantasy 1 through 6, they were all available on mobile. One-time purchase. You got the whole game. That is a market that could explode. You absolutely, I know this sounds crazy, but they could figure out a way. PlayStation 1 could run on a phone.
I mean, yeah, there's emulation.
There's already emulations. Yeah, we've already found them. I'm saying like the companies, though. If
if they wanted to,
they could absolutely do that. And I think that is the future. Mobile gaming will keep continuing to grow. So I just wanted to put that detail out there right now. It does suck that we automatically are like, it's going to cost real money. And it does. Of course it does.
Yeah, you can buy stuff from the merchant. You know,
Oh yeah, the
and
merchant's in it.
The merchant is in it. He shows up, which is funny. And like I said, you got Leon, you got Claire, you got Jill.
You got Marvin, Alyssa.
They all have different, like some of them are legend, some of them are
different qualities,
yeah. Right?
Rarities or whatever you want to call it.
They all have different. The real-time defense battles, you could drop the barrier and stuff like that. We saw Marvin drop that with the liquor in the room.
Yeah, Marvin's got a barrier that like taunts the enemies into it.
Yeah.
This is a little bit more in my wheelhouse because I play a lot of RPGs. So it's interesting. It's an interesting design choice that they're doing. Like it almost feels like almost a tower defense game where you put your people out, your party out, and then like there's an onslaught and you have to like figure out a way to solve it. But on the other side, you have like this narrative with this protagonist who looks like, what you call him? Discount Ethan or whatever. He's like an Ethan too.
He basically is like
he's just like another Ethan. He's got Ethan's jacket. He looks like he's a different art style.
Yeah.
And then it opens with him in a hospital, but there's also a game mode where you're like running around and there's story and puzzles apparently.
Apparently there's puzzles to solve. There's, you can go back to your hub of the mansion, but then like there's other stuff happening, so you can take vehicles from one point to the next of the city. So it's almost like it just kind of coexists within this like universe of Resident Evil with no official legit story. This is just for fun.
It's not canon.
It's not canon. You know what I mean? And again, this might not be your thing, but I think me and John are both going to check it out.
I'll check it out.
Just to see if it's something that we would actually want to play.
I'll pay for premium. I'll get it for a month, just so that I can help contribute to the
part of the problem. John, what the fuck?
Again, true fan. But my job and other channels, your job as well. Our job is a little bit beyond true fan, right? Like we also have not a duty, but like a responsibility to also be genuine and
give you our feedback.
Give the feedback.
Yeah, so, honest feedback, not paid off feedback. We're not paid off reviewers.
This
We're
is
not
a
press.
true.
We're people that enjoy this shit.
We're a different kind of press.
Yeah.
We're a genuine press. We're authentic press, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're not like
we're not the
cookie
paid
cutter shit.
Wall Street Journal and
IGN
all that.
and shit and all that.
Not that I'm saying everybody at Wall Street Journal or another entity is all not genuine, because there are genuine reporters.
Well,
but
IGN maybe not.
Well, IGN. Too much water will forever be their downfall.
Can't spell ignorance without IGN.
Yeah. Can't spell a lot without IGN.
Yeah.
In God's name.
Yes.
In God's name, who wrote this fucking review? Now, we're going to be the ones to play it so that you don't have to. And that's kind of our position. That doesn't make you a true not wanting to get caught into a mobile game trap of premium doesn't, I just want to be clear, it's just because it's like my stance in the podcast, doesn't make you not a true fan. Downloading it and just checking it out for free and seeing what it's about, or watching a video summarizing it to see if it's for you, that's what makes you a true fan. Everybody's going to check this out that's a Resident Evil fan, whether they want to or not.
It's free to download. It's not like you have to pay money.
No, you don't have to pay for it. But if you want to know if your money is worth investing for like 6 months or whatever, just to get like the content,
that's up to you. That's
up to you, and we're definitely going to give you our genuine feedback. I don't know if we're going to do the thing where like one of us goes premium, one of us doesn't, so we get the free to play and the premium. I'm fine with going premium. I don't mind it, because there's a lot of times where like my girlfriend and I'll lay in bed and watch TV, but we're not really paying attention to the TV. She's like on the Switch and I'm just on my phone like doom scrolling. I would absolutely fill that time with this game.
Yeah, no, it's just something different. I never really got into any like zero mobile games ever. I've never. So I think this
you don't even like using your phone normally. So mobile phone gaming.
I
is
barely
like,
take calls. I actually am going back to a flip phone this year. I'm actually reverting back, and you won't find me. And that's it. And I'm gonna have to do the 3 little character text.
You're gonna be like,
but yeah, it's.
I'm gonna revert to a flip phone next year.
Yeah,
but it's gonna be a smartphone, but it's gonna be flip.
Yeah.
I'm going back to the Razor, like Ashley.
I'm going back to the Sidekick.
I have one still in my drawer.
Yeah.
You want it?
Yeah, we'll set it up.
It's cinnamon.
I'll play Survival Instinct on a Sidekick, and the chocolate phones as well. Don't forget them.
Somebody out there is going to think you're serious.
Oh, 100%.
Going back to a flip phone.
Going back to a flip phone. So don't call
me.
They
won't get me.
Yeah. I'm off the grid. It's the
You're going to be
last
playing
thing I do.
that Resident Evil flip phone game.
I'm going to be playing a Degeneration mobile game.
Oh,
But the
man.
last thing I mean, again, we already kind of went a lot into detail with the trailer breakdown, but
Get ready for heart-pounding defensive battles against powerful creatures inspired by Resident Evil, including a brand new creature designed by world-renowned artist Yoshitaka Amano.
Yes, this is Mortem,
Mortem.
who looks like a vampire.
Looks like what Lady D should have been. It's Mr. D.
Mr. D.
Yeah, this is the design. It's so funny. It's the design that we talked about in that video.
Yeah.
Amano, though, that's cool. I think it's really cool. I think it's strange that he's coming in for just one design.
Yeah.
But it's cool because he's
They
the
showed
Final
the concept
Fantasy
art. They showed the final art. And he believes that true fear lies not in the appearance, but the psychological unease. So his design, so it captures an eerie presence that lingers watching in silence. And we'll kind of see what role it plays. Can it attack you anywhere? Can it attack you at the base? The design is interesting. It doesn't look like anything that would fit the Raccoon City creatures. It looks like something that could fit in Village.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But it doesn't
It's
fit.
not a bad design. It
No.
just doesn't really that's why it's a very interesting choice that Amano-san was like, I'll do it like this,
Yeah.
where he could have just made it like anything else, you know what I mean, that we saw before. Yeah, I think the thing real quick that I guess I would be excited about is just to have something fun to jump into that's, it doesn't take a lot of brain power to play, and it's just something I could throw on for a little bit and then turn off. I'm not too invested in mobile to play this hours on end, but if you're on a flight or if you're
What are you talking about,
in an
Anthony?
airport,
You're not going to do a
or-
24-hour stream?
No, we're not going to be doing a 24-hour stream. We might stream it just for shits and giggles, just to play it, but not going to be a 24-hour stream. What are you excited about as far as just overall of this game? What excites you? Is it just the fact that you have something to just throw on that's Resident Evil, like you said, when you're in bed, just instead of doom scrolling, you could play something
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not excited at all.
Okay.
I'm not. It's not something. It's optional.
We're not jumping up and down.
Yeah, I'm not here praising it or anything like that. I'll check it out. I think if anything, if I had to choose something, it would be the fact that we get to see our characters in Raccoon City again doing crazy shit.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in seeing what Amano's character is going to do.
Yeah, I'm kind
But
of
I wouldn't say
interested in that.
excited.
Yeah.
I would say I'm not, but I'm also not angry. It doesn't affect me at all, dude.
Yeah.
We're going to play, I'll play, even if it's just for free to play and I'm not going to play the thing.
Yeah.
I'll check it out, see what the story has, see if there's anything interesting there. The only way it would piss me off is if they try to make this canon.
Yeah, which thankfully didn't seem like they're doing. It's just kind of
They
like
said
a
it's
what
a
if
parallel story.
parallel
Yeah.
kind of thing. So yeah, that's the thing. It's if anything, I just want to see something that's mindless, something that's fun. But yeah, we're not really that stoked on it. It's just kind of there. It literally, I remember we messaged each other instantly when this got I saw Wario put it up, and then I sent it to John, and he's like, I just saw this too. I'm like, well, this is kind of random, and yeah, so just kind of in the midst
At first,
of this,
I was excited.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to be like Final Fantasy Tactics.
yeah,
I
and
was
then we saw
really
the
hoping.
event, and we were like,
I was like,
it's
as
not the
soon
wor-
as it popped up, I was like, oh no.
No, we weren't tanking on this like
Not
some
the
people in
gems.
the comments. I know the gems that you have to buy with
Not the
real
gem-
money from the merchant, but yeah. Again, it doesn't I think you summed it up. It's not exciting. It'll just be cool to play, and if we could play with some of our friends from other countries.
I don't even know if
or,
there's multiplayer.
That's the thing. I didn't hear that.
I
So-
don't know if you can team up and take shit down or.
if any, all right, if that's in the game, I'm looking forward to at least that
Yeah.
side of it, where I can play with Luke from the UK if he wants to be yo man, I'm gonna take out this BOW.
Yeah.
If we want to jump on there together, stuff like that, where you could play with your friends that are just all around the world. I feel like that would be a missed opportunity. So I'm not really looking forward to that if it's just single player.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll phrase it like that.
if it's
so-
just single player, your time's better spent just playing the games.
that's what
Or
I'm thinking.
literally anything else. Go
Yeah.
learn how to cook something.
Yeah, yeah, just not mobile game or or your thousandth round of Candy Crush or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
people play on their phone.
Well, but see, Candy Crush is different because Candy Crush is a literal time sink that's brain stimulating. It's a puzzle game. It's like
not a
playing
strategy
Tetris,
game. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's just like it's a puzzle game. Which
Yeah.
puzzle games, they have a place in the world.
Yeah, even a card game like solitaire or shit you just
Exactly.
play on your. That's like a mind. Like it helps you think, but it's like you don't have to think too hard.
Yeah.
When playing, where this it's like, all right, it's a strategy. So if I have this amount of resources, can I rebuild this part of the mansion? Like you're thinking.
And that's the problem with strategy: is it strategy or is it time gate with money?
That's why people are coming at this game.
Clash of Clans is the same thing.
Yeah.
You can get Jimmy Fallon, you can get whoever you want. I ain't fucking downloading.
People
it.
are calling this Clash of Resident Evil or Clash of Evil.
Candy Evil.
Candy Evil. But so I understand the
I was calling it Raid Resident Evil.
Raid Evil Legends. I understand the discomfort that comes with mobile games
For
and
sure.
that discussion.
I do too.
But like we always say, you don't really have to vote with your wallet, so to speak, because it's free to download, but just don't download it. Just ignore it. It's fine. You got Resident Evil 9 coming out in February. This is just, we don't have a date yet. They just said by the end of this year, so maybe November, maybe December, maybe fall.
Somebody else will play it.
Somebody else will play it.
Just look up a video.
Yeah, we'll do a video on
Yeah,
it.
we'll
just
do
to
a video.
Say we did a video
Yeah.
and to give our feedback. Like if me and John play it for a week and we're like, I don't really see us playing this longer for a month. We're going to tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if we don't see that longevity in a mobile game.
We checked it out. We found out. We fucked around, found out.
And that's it. We're
And
not
that's
spending
it.
money on it. We're
Nope.
not continuing to support it.
I will get the premium for 1 month because I believe in giving every game a chance.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Although, the only mobile game I really ever played was Pokemon TCG Pocket. And I own Final Fantasy 1 on my phone. That's it. And I own that from like 16, 17. So it's been a while.
Yeah.
But I've only had premium on Pokemon TCG Pocket, and it was like the free month they give you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't mind it, but yeah, I'm not that excited. A lot of people are also saying that I saw in the comments, like, why are they putting so much effort into this? Like, why aren't they allocating this to something else? Well, number one, it's a different company that's making it.
It is.
That's why it looks like a fan project, basically. Like all the art styles, like the merchant and like everybody else, they all look
it's a little
strange.
dinky, yeah.
Yeah, they look like that. They have that. Only thing I can describe it as is that mobile game feel.
Yes.
Dinky. And the merchant's
Yeah,
like,
it's just dinky.
Merchant's like,
It's just not. It's not
just,
all
it's
the
just
way.
like
It's
weird.
It's
yeah,
like halfway.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I just was laughing at the word. Yeah, I'm not sold, but I'm going to check it out, and we'll check it out so you don't have to. And like I said earlier, my criteria of a true fan is check it out. But if you don't want to check it out, just watch somebody else check it out, make the judgment for yourself, look it up, whatever. Get your fill of it, see what it's all about, and if it's not worth it, hey, it's not canon, so oh well.
Oh well. And
Yeah.
I think we should be looking forward to more, hopefully better announcements for the actual 30th anniversary, which is going to be coming up in March. So I think like that's what we're like,
I really
fingers
hope.
crossed.
Yeah,
we
I
get
really hope
something.
RE9 is not the only thing.
I hope not. 'Cause
Just give us an announcement on
give
the
us
on the
something.
day.
Even if it's a remake.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Look, I know a lot of people want
RE1
this
remake
collection. I want a collection too. But at this point, if we have to wait until, a little bit longer for them to do that or whatever, like, well, we will. But yeah, guys, that's really about it for this show. So we just kind of wanted to give you guys a little wrap up of stuff. We have another show coming up that is really just talking about Silent Hill and survival horror stuff, believe it or not. So
we mentioned that earlier.
yeah, so we have, a couple more things to do to kind of get on the to-do list for leading into the fall, which is going to be a busy time. So we have a lot of cool stuff planned. But of course, for this podcast, you can always find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Libsyn for free. LTRE can always be found on social media, such as, Discord, Instagram, and we have merch down below as well. So check out some LTRE merch. The shirts have been there for a while. Check them out. That's on the Spring Store. If you're on YouTube, the link is down below. If not, it'll be in the show notes. And that's about it until we get another developer message. Now, real quick, they did say there's going to be a second developer message, but we just don't know when. We don't know when that will be released. So chances are we will probably do a video on that once that is
Yeah,
put
standalone
out.
video.
So, yeah. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next Let's Talk Resident Evil podcast.
And if you're interested in checking out exclusive content that will be returning probably in September, consider joining the membership on YouTube or subscribing over on Patreon.
Yep. There's going to be a lot more updates, like John said, and content coming out on that as well. So plenty of content to look forward to as we continue our road to Resident Evil 9.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's wrong with subscribing? Come on, don't leave me hanging. Hit that subscribe button for more Let's Talk Resident Evil content.